Turn on all the things. I think everyone's in the right spot. Fuck it. If not, I'm not gonna worry about it. Not gonna worry about it. God, what the hell did you guys even do last time?
We did a lot.
We
We went to
first
the
We
queen.
we made it
got
to the
the
city.
fucking Omu.
We went to the queen. We killed the queen. Everyone's sad. We found
Motherfucker.
petrified ducks.
Did you keep any of those petrified ducks?
Oh god.
Oh,
Back to
Yeah.
the.
Jez is hard, Robotron.
Oh no. Am I still?
You look like you're in a
Um.
permanent about to yawn phase.
No, his cam froze too.
We went to
Well-
the heart of Ubtao, talked to Valindra Shadowmantle.
Well,
He gave us directions to Omu.
let's do this properly. Previously on Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, what happened? Now you guys can remember what happened.
Went back to Nangalore. We killed
You're unfrozen,
Zalcore.
Des.
I don't think we brought our head back or anything back to
No,
Noticeable.
you did bring her head back.
We did.
Okay. Yeah.
Dusty wrapped it up in his cloak, his
Ashara
tattered old cloak.
performed the ritual for us. We flew to the heart of Ubtao, where we met Valindra Shadowmantle, witch who knew Ornthan something something. She gave us directions to Omu. We're in Omu now.
We
She also
flew.
wanted us to not destroy the soulmonger.
And she
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
you guys to save it, to find it and let them know, like let her know, and she would preserve it, seal it away so that it can't hurt anybody anymore, and can't do all its evil shit, but not destroy it so they can learn from it, because destroying it would be a waste. She was a very pragmatic woman. Actually, let's move that.
Gave Dusty her number.
Dusty slid into the DMs.
It's so old. His number was 2.
I don't remember if I got my health or not. If I've leveled up my health.
I hopefully, yeah, because you guys leveled up once you reached the city of Omu, so hopefully you guys did all that.
I had less to do.
Yeah, all I really had to do was my health.
So, yeah, so last time you guys reached the outskirts of the city of Omu, you sort of trekked around, getting kind of the lay of the land until you made it to the only sort of proper entrance that you could find, some steps sort of descending out of the jungle. Going around, you notice that the entire city seems to be surrounded by these 100 to 150 foot tall cliffs, like on all sides. The entire city is sunk down into the ground, meaning that getting down some other way would be quite treacherous. Your sort of overview of the city, I guess, as you noticed it. The jungle parts to reveal a dead city enclosed by sheer cliffs. Ruined buildings and stone boulevards rise like ghosts from the floor of the misty basin. Colorful birds glide overhead. A waterfall pours into the basin, creating a swollen river that floods much of the city before draining into a deep rift filled with molten lava. A ruined palace lies a few hundred feet from the edge of the steaming abyss. As you guys sort of made your way around, too, you also noticed about every 100 or so feet, perched on like the edge of the cliff, kind of like overlooking all of Omu, were these old gargoyles. They were stone and just draped in vines and like moss and that. They're looking like they've been there for quite a while. And they looked kind of like your typical gargoyles, like you've normally seen, but they all had, they're all staring down into the city, and they all had the face of a devil with its mouth agape in a silent scream. In
You're
fact,
talking about these upper cliffs, right?
basically, yeah, the cliffs that surround the entire
Okay.
city. But every 100 feet or so, you found like one of these gargoyles just kind of perched, looking into the city. In fact, it's everybody except for Dado recognizes what the gargoyles kind of look like. Their faces look quite similar to things you saw in the abandoned tomb that you were sent to. Looks kind of like that, is what their faces look like.
I don't think you should do that.
That thing's a hell of a lot easier to hold up than something out of the book. So, you found all these gargoyles. You didn't really get too close to them as you sort of made your way around. But, you know, they didn't seem to be moving. They seemed quite statuesque, as gargoyles tend to be. But that is sort of what you noticed. Yeah, you guys had time to, like, level up and rest and everything. So you're all full, ready to go. And you begin sort of your descent into the city. You sort of started out by sort of coming down the old kind of rotten steps, like crumbling, worn away steps that sort of descend like lower and lower into the city proper. And I lost my page. So, as you sort of descend down into the first kind of plateau is kind of the wrong word for it. The first sort of level of this this city, you see a guardhouse standing near the entrance to the city. Arrow slits are cut into its limestone walls, and a lopsided iron portcullis hangs over the gateway, beyond which you see is an open plaza. Get your fucking little arms off my mouse pad, god damn it. There's a giant bed right beside, like, on the whole second half of my desk, and the cat is on the left side of it, stretched halfway across my bloody mouse pad. You have like a foot of room that way, you tiny furry demon. Can't do anything around here. What do I get for waking her up?
So it's closed, this portcullis? Or...
So, no, portcullis is open.
Oh, then my bad.
Basically, the portcullis is kind of just not really there anymore. You just, you know, sort of peering into the little guardhouse surround, you see that much of the interior is collapsed into rubble. Creepers cling to the walls, and high grasses sprout between the flagstones amid evidence of long-dead campfires. One wall is covered with graffiti, some words painted, others etched.
Okay. So we're looking at this building right here.
Yep. Ooh. So essentially, you make your way in. You just find yourselves in like a little kind of walled-off guardhouse, and this seems, it feels like kind of the base camp for people who've made expeditions into this city in the past.
Yeah.
You find the ruins of like basically just burnt out campfires and stuff like that, and just things to show you that you are not the first people to have found this city over the last couple of 100 years or so.
Anything else significantly of note as I investigate?
You don't find anything of value, like, at all. It looks like somebody at some point has probably gone and picked all of these things clean. Like, you don't find anything even remotely useful, which is kind of strange. Like, basically, if it's not completely rotten or destroyed, and somebody at some point has taken it with them. The only thing of note that you notice is all the graffiti on one of the walls. Most of which seems to be in common.
Let me get on that with reading.
Yep. So.
What's my reading skill?
So yeah, you notice that most of these messages seem to be in common. There's a variety of ones. Some have kind of faded into obscurity. Some have been carved. Some have been like painted and marked onto the walls. Some are more recent. Some are older. They say, "Fear the fangs of Roznisi. Eric, I've gone in search of the 9 shrines. V. The puzzle cubes are the key. Beware the frog monster. Who is Unk? Unk is spelled Unk.
UNK.
UNKH. Another one says, all hail the king of feathers. The snakes are not what they seem. And then the last one you're able to make out says, Kubasan equals bravery. Shagambi equals wisdom. Moa equals question mark? Kubazan. I should have typed a couple of these out, actually. That would have been smart. Wait a sec. No, it's just easier to type it. Yeah. Kubazan equals brave. Why I can't type. Kubazan equals bravery. Shagambi equals wisdom. And Moa equals question mark?
Any of these names ring a bell to any of us?
You can give me history checks.
I feel like
Not me.
On to Dad.
I was asleep that day.
oh, do I have to carry the party?
Pyros believes he's heard of frogs before, so the thing about a frog monster. Dusty's...
What were the couple of things before Frog Monster?
Fear the fangs of Raz Nisi. Raz Nisi, you guys have heard a bunch of times, is the leader of the Wan Ti here in Omu.
Something about puzzle cubes are the key.
Yeah. Eric,
There are
I've gone in
9
search
shrines.
of the 9 shrines, V, and the puzzle cubes are the key.
Beware Frog Monster, Fang of Rainisi, Puzzle Cubes, Search the Shrines, King of Feathers, Snakes don't know what they seem, and then the 3 words.
Yeah.
And who is Unk?
Who is Unk?
Who is Unk?
Alright.
That is the most you're able to discern from the graffiti on the wall. From the messages left by past explorers.
Are any of them in non-common?
I would say there's probably a couple that looks like they... you probably see a couple of letters of old Omuan kind of buried underneath everything else. But, it's so degraded, you can't really make any of it out.
Yeah, probably more if they were scratched in instead, but they're not.
Well, some of this stuff is scratched in, like some of these things, like some of the graffiti, but it all seems to basically be in common.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the Omu wouldn't have come and just put big graffiti messages on the wall. Like, this is probably all explorers, especially this being a kind of base camp type thing that people have used. So people have left. This is the bulletin board of the city of Omu.
Did my int check reveal anything?
You do not recognize any of the names.
Nope, guys, got nothing.
Besides Raz Nisi, of course.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I barely remember that one.
But no. You do know Frog Monster seemed kind of scary. I mean, it's kind of like a regular frog, but...
Monster.
The monster?
A monstrous version of a regular frog.
Well,
Nothing else here.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna find much else here.
Really want to use Wand of Secrets right now.
Yeah, you don't imagine that the
no.
first room in...
I mean,
Is
that's
probably-
that's what they want you to think.
Maybe the whole key to the entire adventure is just in this room.
It's just
Everything
really-
beyond it is flavor.
Oh, here are all the puzzle cubes.
What was this building called again? The what?
It's a guardhouse. Seemed to be, yeah, it seems to be some kind
Oh,
of an old
building.
guardhouse.
It's called Building A.
Building 1.
All right, moving on.
Yep, keep going.
Okay. Just for your reference, I have actually scaled this map properly.
Oh god, okay.
Moving at a kind of measured pace, like moving like carefully. Like the whole city is pretty much overgrown, so it's basically difficult terrain moving around the city. So you move about 200 feet every 5 minutes as you're kind of walking around. Just so you have that as an idea.
Okay.
That's moving at like just sort of a careful pace. I mean, if you wanted to really just haul ass, you could go faster, but you'd be making a lot of noise and missing a lot of stuff. And
How big is this cliff?
Yeah. It's like
that
One
cliff, you
big
don't really have
rock.
to worry about. You're able to find a pretty clear path down it.
is
Like
there
all-
an equally clear path up it?
Well, yeah, you find basically a worn path from people coming in and
probably-
out of the city.
They probably go around or something.
But yeah, the actual cliff sides of the town are sheer rock. And the rock doesn't look very stable either. It looks kind of like crumbly and shitty. So you think climbing up, like out of the city, up like one of those cliff walls would be not that great an idea.
The best you could do is fly.
Yeah, so Dusty's fine. So
Good.
So, as you guys sort of move into the city, like once you kind of get out into the open, you pass by a series of old buildings. All these buildings seem to be pretty run down. Most of their structure is still there, but they look kind of crumbled and crappy. A lot of the sort of surrounding architecture seems to be in this same kind of worn shape. To the north, up here, you guys happen to notice some wisps of smoke. The loud motorcycle. You see some wisps of smoke that seem to be like drifting out of this walled compound to the north.
Okay. I feel like these buildings here are useless to look at because
I
Okay.
agree.
they're the
Yeah.
first entry point. They probably didn't pick clean. Obvious. Do we want to go toward
Okay.
smoke, or do we want to
Um,
avoid smoke?
I mean, smoke essentially means there's people.
And we're not
Yeah.
trying to get into any sort of
Confrontations.
yeah.
Well, it's not a whole lot of smoke. It's just kind of the wisps of maybe it was like an old campfire or something like that, or some kind of expired fire and it's just kind of like wisping like light smoke into the air. It's not like a very clear, oh, someone's cooking dinner in there.
Yeah.
Well, we need to find. We need to
The entrance to the tomb.
pick a direction.
You are like
Well, we
super
gotta find
Robotroning just
I don't. I mean, we're
Shut
gonna
up.
have to head north. So
I'm
okay.
gonna break Sepik.
Hmm?
User disconnected from your channel.
Well,
Alright, dope.
sweet. Everybody's cams are all screwed up now.
Sorry, could you ping where this was coming from again?
Right here, ish.
Okay.
This area.
That's the one thing I hate about having the
Yeah,
cam
I
set
mean-
up this way.
Well, either way, we're gonna have to head north. It's not like we're exactly gonna go through the big hole side of the city.
Yeah. All right, so
So-
we can push this way. Damn it. This way, and then start heading up, and then we can see like maybe by here. See anything in there? Kind of like watch this area close.
I don't know if going up on the is that a walkway or is that a wall?
No, that's a wall, but I'm saying like we make sure like nothing.
Well, it's a raised walkway essentially.
Yeah,
I was like,
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
so
like.
if we're
Oh,
gonna be
yeah,
Main
walking
Street.
Okay,
here, that I kind of feel like we're just like, oh hey, yeah, let's just taking a stroll down Omu, Omu
Well-
Street.
I'm. If you want to go a different direction, that's fine. You get to speak up.
I'm thinking like we stay in like between the buildings, so like, or at least not like
User joined your channel.
advertising ourselves as
Okay.
like
Yeah.
we walk.
Then yeah, we can walk by the little walled off area and take a look in.
Like, because we know there are people in the city of Omu. We know there are the snake
Bad
people. We know that the soulmonger itself is here somewhere. So people we're fighting are in here.
Okay,
So
so you need
anybody
to
we're
link
gonna
again.
meet is a potential confrontation.
All right. Then between the buildings to the walled compound, and we'll take a look inside.
You know what I should do is I should actually make I should just make a thing like a scene transition cover to just cover all the cams if somebody drops until they come back, and just like take
You have
basically.
like a 4-person setup thing.
I do, but then it's a completely different scene because it deletes one of one of the whole boxes off the screen.
Yeah. So I mean, you
Because-
can just like switch for the time, just like with no names, and just make it. Anyway.
Apparently, you can't use an old link.
That's why I sent you a new link.
I know.
That's
Now
lame, though.
everything's out of order.
All right.
No, everything's fine. It's because you're the last one in the call. You were the last one in the call anyway, so it doesn't screw up any of the order. No, what I'll do in the future is I'll probably just go and get I'll just make a thing that covers all the cams with just a little note that says, it's like, Cam's back soon.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. It's like, I broke it like a leopard stream. It'll be back soon. It's fine.
All right.
Leopard broke his cam on his New Year's stream last night pretty bad.
Do either of, or does this building look like it used to be important at all?
There's
Uh,
a home.
Looking at it, it doesn't seem... It seems mostly like housing, and perhaps the domed one is some kind of meeting area or communal...
Conservatory.
well, some kind of communal building. I mean, you guys can go in and check them out if you want to. See what
Yeah, I
you...
was gonna say, do we want to go peek into one of the buildings?
I have no dice. Terrible.
I mean,
I am fine
I
with either. I
don't
can look
know.
inside, or we can keep going.
I don't know how important it'd be just because it's right near the entrance.
yep, probably same issue.
So let's just.
That's probably
head-
why it's also
let's just
empty.
head straight down here. Take a peek inside, whatever this is.
Yeah, I suggest that too.
So you guys kind of shimmy along. The main road is about probably 10 feet tall. Like the stairs lead up, and then it's just like a big raised walkway. I would say there would probably be the occasional passageway underneath. Almost like it's basically like a big aqueduct, kind of. Except it doesn't really carry anything. It's just a big stone main road for people to walk along. Because it's fancy. So, as you
We're walking
approach...
up, I was gonna say, can I listen? Can I perceive if I can hear extra noises?
Sure.
Extra
Basically,
noisy.
once you get to the kind of the entrance to the little walled compound.
Yeah, without sprinting across first.
Yep.
Oh, it was on the fucking funny.
So you hear, you're able to make out sort of the growling and snapping of what sounds like at least a couple of wild animals. Like you hear some dog-like noises, perhaps a couple of
Orc.
canine creatures fighting over a meal or something like that.
Perhaps arf. Perhaps
Yeah,
woof.
Perhaps a
You
wolf.
you heard a bork and a woof. One of them went bork bork, and the other one went bork bork. And the other one went nom nom nom.
Can I hear them?
Give me a perception check. I guess I'm assuming Dusty's gonna relay what he hears.
Is this anything we've run into before?
Just from the sounds of it, you're not sure.
Sounds
by,
like
by sounds alone.
Nope.
Yeah, by sounds alone, it sounds like some kind of canine. Like it's not. It doesn't sound like it's friggin' Cerberus, like come straight from hell, like tearing people apart. Sounds like a couple of dogs or something like that fighting over food.
Okay. It doesn't sound like we need to interact at all.
When we get to the entrance looking in, is there anything notable?
Are you guys sort of like, are you going to look into the entrance then? Because Dusty was basically, he stopped short of the entrance and is like listening. He has not yet broached.
That's what I'm doing for now, but I mean, I have no desire to go in there.
And you're telling us that you hear dogs?
Yes.
Yep, he hears
Okay.
dogs.
Speak with
Sorry, I
animals.
thought that was implied when Zephyr said what I heard.
Then I'll cast Speak with Animals. Then I could talk to them.
I'm gonna peek in.
Man, that's a
I'm gonna, like,
sick noise.
Yeah, I could.
That's quite the mic feedback.
What was that from?
That is from you, Jez.
From you.
No, I know, but I don't know what it was
Oh.
from. 'Cause I didn't move.
Well, it's from.
Pyro, I could sneak up to the entrance and take a look in.
Yeah, okay, you do that.
I don't know what was happening first, the speak with animals or.
Well, okay. Well, Jez is gonna cast Speak with Animals. He can't actually hear them, so it's not really. It hasn't done anything quite yet because he failed his perception check to hear like the noises.
I'm just gonna try to peer around the corner stealthily and see if there's anything of note in the entrance.
So, as you kind of peer around, you see that the gate lies in splinters and scorch marks deface the buildings. Near the center of the compound is a plaza littered with charred human corpses. One of the corpses is being torn apart by a pack of wild dogs.
And
how
if it's
about we
wisping,
don't?
if it's wisping, that means it was recent.
Yeah, so kind of peering around, you see that like the bits of smoke seem to be mostly coming from, kind of like the corpses and that, like are just giving off like bits of ember and that. There's probably like a chunk of a building where one of the scorch marks is that's embering a bit, and that's kind of what like is causing the bits of smoke to rise up from this area.
Do we want to go in?
I don't think we do.
I feel like I got the grinding down because it was just my laptop fan. Right?
Your
How many
laptop
dogs is it?
fan?
Like two?
How many do I see?
You see six wild dogs, and they're just kind of like gnawing and pulling at one of the corpses.
Orc unit.
Yeah, they're not as big as wolves or anything. They seem like they're like almost like little coyotes or something like that.
It wouldn't be very difficult to kill them.
Yeah, but what are we gonna find?
Yeah.
Find
We will.
dog meat?
We could potentially.
There's that bigger building over here. I feel like that might have something in it. What does that building look like?
You're not exactly sure from here. Just looks like a large stone building.
We could try inspecting the bodies, but I don't know how interested the rest of you would be into that.
I doubt I can talk to them.
Okay.
I mean, I
Because
could
you don't
talk.
speak Bork.
I could talk to them. I meant I doubt I could persuade them to not attack us. They're probably hungry.
Well, there's lots of stuff for them to eat.
Yeah, but they'll be like, "Oh, new meal." This meal's cooked. I don't like cooked food.
I don't know. I mean, going in there, we could potentially glean who who the bodies used to belong to, and
Yeah.
maybe what did this.
Yeah, we probably should. Because if they did it to this, they might do it to us, and better knowing.
Okay. You want to take the lead then, since you could talk to them?
Sure,
Come in peace.
Talk to the doggos anyway.
sure. As long as everyone else is gonna be behind me and not
Yeah.
let me go out there alone.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course.
I will prepare a
Dodge.
No.
Oh.
That was a talent.
I will prepare a firebolt in case they attack.
Okay. I will.
I will prepare a dodge.
I'll step.
I'm gonna
I'll step
prepare to
out.
sleep if any of them attack. How about that?
I'll step out
I'm-
and say, "Hail, dog friends."
We hear pork, pork, pork.
Yeah. So one of them, sort of the biggest one, the biggest one out of the pack of 6. You see it kind of turn its head to you, and it kind of snarls. Everyone else sees it kind of snarl and growl. Jez, you hear it kind of angrily say, like, "No, this one's ours. You guys help yourselves to those ones. This one ours.
No, we-
Our food."
We don't mean to take your food. We're not here for that.
Good.
We just
pork,
want
pork.
to pass through here. And do you know what killed these? What killed your food?
He tells you, serpent people killed these other people.
Okay.
There was a big group of people. Serpent people came and killed them. So
You know
don't
which way they
take
went?
our food. This is our food. There's plenty of food for all. And he kind of goes back to
Good.
like ripping like part of a hand off so he can chew on it, like a big piece of jerky.
If we pass through here and don't touch your food, can we pass through fine? Safely?
So this is fine. Just leave our food.
We will. So I'll go back to I'll turn around to the group and say, "Fine, we just can't touch their food."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they seem
And
quite.
I was
They
not
seem
planning
to
on
be
doing
helping themselves to a body or two that are kind of in the corner.
Yeah.
And like that's what they're gnawing on. They kind of told you, yeah, like there's plenty of food to go around. Leave ours
They
alone.
don't need to fight.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I'm
It
gonna
was serpent.
look.
it's serpent people. Killed them.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we know what that means.
Yeah. So you guys, as you kind of move into the courtyard, you find that there's like a big pile of burnt bodies, and a glaive has been thrust into the remains of a burnt-out pyre. Charred snake skulls and blackened inhuman vertebrae are lashed to the spear. On a wall nearby, a symbol has been drawn in ash. A snake curled in a spiral, gripping a circle in its jaws.
Oh dear, that's more menacing than I expected.
So like one of those little pharmacy symbols.
Kind
Is
of.
this-
Do I know what this is? Given my
Yes.
patronage?
I would. Wacky, you do know what this is. Anybody else could make a religion check. Intelligence religion check to see if we can figure out what it is.
Let me get on that with thinking.
Oh, Pyro.
The religion check.
Yep.
Damn it.
Well, Pyro recognizes it and is able to tell you guys that it is a symbol representing Dendar the Night Serpent. And the symbol is depicting
Dendar.
him devouring the world.
I'll be like, oh, it's Dendar. He's eating the world. I like Jez's religion rule.
And you guys are able to remember that from the
420,
history,
Blaze those bodies.
the history and the stories you've heard in your travels so far, that Dendar was supposedly imprisoned in Chult by Ubtao, and that like the god Ubtao was keeping Dendar imprisoned so that he couldn't break free and devour the world.
But Ubtao's not here anymore.
Yeah, Ubtao fucked off.
Abandoned.
He's like,
Oh,
man,
no.
screw this place.
Who's watching Dendar now, though?
Now, that glaive looks significant. Or
No,
is it just
it looks like
uh,
it's pretty just common and worn. You believe it's not the weapon itself is of no significance, but sort of the especially with Pyro's religion check, you're able to ascertain that you believe this is some kind of like a
offering?
spiritual, yeah, like a spiritual offering. That this is something known as a spirit pole.
Yeah.
Um, the bodies, are they just regular humans, or...
They seem to be humanoid.
There was like snake skulls and twisted vertebrae too.
There was. You were able to, as you kind of like tally things up, you find 30 corpses that
Whoa.
seem to belong to like humanoids of some kind. Whether they were humans or elves or whatnot, you're not entirely sure because the bodies are just completely burnt beyond recognition, as like they basically like piled into a pyre and just lit ablaze. So all of their defining characteristics seem to be burnt away, but they were humanoid of some kind.
I bet one of them is V. Is there any building in this courtyard that looks more prominent than the others? Like maybe that ghoul-looking thing?
Yeah, the school-looking building seems to be sort of the biggest out of all of the... Like, the rest seem to be just kind of run-down little houses. That one seems to be like a much bigger building, that perhaps it once had a second floor that's partially caved in. You do notice there's sort of like a big pile of rubble on like one of the walls. Like one of the walls is like completely caved in. Perhaps from whatever battle this took place, because it looks significantly more damaged than the rest of the surrounding area. But other than that, like the caved in wall, the rest of the building seems to be fairly intact.
We'll probably come across those snake people if we go in here.
Why are we
Will
going in
we?
here?
We're looking for the tomb, or not the tomb, the what is it called?
Soulmonger?
Yeah, we're looking for the soulmonger in this town.
Like
And-
anywhere in particular?
Places that look prominent are good choices. It's probably not under that one that's in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, I feel like that's the most likely spot it would be.
Yeah, but I feel like it's bigger than that 50 foot by 50 foot.
I mean, you don't know.
We may as well scope out everything we can.
All right, fine,
Yeah.
let's go.
I mean, we're also gonna have an issue getting there.
Yeah.
Dusty won't.
Yeah, Dusty won't.
What, will
Float
he?
my ass over. Let's talk about we. You mean y'all?
I mean, we could
Oh.
get you to levitate my shield and to carry people across one at a time. Again. Hello,
Are we gonna check out the
staying-
big building?
Yeah, let's check out one of these buildings at least.
Yeah.
That little round one
So-
too.
As you guys are kind of moving into the big building, you hear some grumbling. Like you hear some quiet kind of like moaning coming from underneath the big pile of rubble.
Some of this
How
alive.
big is this pile?
Pretty big. Like a good significant portion of the wall has just like completely caved over. Looks like Dusty
it's-
like maybe went ham on the wall and this is all that's left of it.
Let's try to dig him out then, or dig her out. Don't want to presume.
Yeah, be
'Cause-
careful.
I mean, it's probably not a snake person. I mean, that doesn't sound like.
Do you mean that's how they sound? Alright.
Yeah, Jess, you just said you weren't gonna assume.
Maybe they
No, no,
learned got
yeah.
some speech therapy.
I mean, I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like
not
a
I'm not
snake
gonna be much
moan
help
would, like.
digging
What?
whoever this is up, so it's all yours.
And look around and just like, oh,
Uh-huh.
Jess, it's me.
I am gonna prep a sleep if this thing turns out to be hostile.
And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try like determining the quickest way to dig this guy out. And then I will. So I'm just gonna roll a strength check.
Sure.
Start like digging him out. How big are each of these rocks?
They're pretty big. Like, it's big chunks of wall. The easiest way would probably be all of you to just, like, work together, kind of picking these things up. Oh, I actually completely forgot about Azaka. Azaka is no longer with you. Once you guys kind of came in and checked out the front camp, she told you she wanted to go and get, like, a better lay of the land. So she went scouting, and she said she would meet up with you later. I forgot to cover that, because I forgot to write that down in my thing to cover. So Azaka is not currently with you. She's reconning, like, all around, like, the outskirts of the city, like, way up on the cliffs and stuff like that. So it is just the four of you currently. But yeah, you figure that working together, you don't really know where the person is, because you haven't really, like, tried to make contact with them or anything. You just heard, like, a moaning sound coming from the rocks. So, but, like, moving, if you worked, like, all four of you together, it'll probably take you, like, an hour to clear a bunch of this stuff out.
Well, before we start moving, I'm gonna be like, hello? Are you alive?
Clearly.
You hear, like, a very muffled, but, like, who's there? Like, you hear somebody speaking back to you in common, and it's really hard to make out a lot of what he's saying, but he does seem coherent. And, like, listening to him kind of mumble things, you're like, I think he's, like, under that big pile over there.
Okay. I will help Jafar dig him out.
Okay. So, you guys spend about a half an hour picking up and moving rocks until you're finally able to unbury a middle-aged human male. He's probably in his 40s or 50s. Bald human male in just these filthy, blood-stained, tattered crimson robes. You kind of unbury him, and he looks pretty badly hurt. And, like, he's been in there probably for a good while. You know, he...
Crimson robes.
Bald.
They look like Dusty's?
Yeah, they're about the same color as Dusty's. A little more blood-stained and tattered.
A little more dusty.
Yeah, a little more dusty. You know, so once you finally get to him, he's kind of in a delirious state. Like, just, give me medicine check.
Any of
Medicine
us?
check!
Yeah, any of you. Anybody that cares, give me a medicine check.
Well, I definitely don't.
We're doing
Dusty
good.
doesn't give a fuck. It's like, man, screw this guy.
Where
Wacky, you're able to tell, like, this guy seems to be, like, he's hurt
There we
pretty
go.
bad. And Pyro, you and Wacky kind of checked this guy over. He's hurt pretty badly. Like, his HP is probably almost at 0. And he seems very, very exhausted.
He's very badly hurt and very badly burned, but he's
not burnt at all, but he is pretty crushed, and it looks like he's probably, like, he's 2 or 3 days at least into dehydration. So he's been buried under that wall for probably at least a couple of days.
Oh, God.
With no food,
Okay.
no water, and in this, like, sweltering friggin' heat. So he's in some pretty rough shape. So because of that, he's kind of delirious, and he's not really able to even he's, like, just kind of off in his own little world at the moment, like, barely conscious.
I guess we can give him a little bit of water and a little bit of healing. I can touch him for 5 if we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Keeping our wits about us.
yeah, we're not being too friendly just yet. We're just trying to get him into, like, a little bit more of a conscious state. I'll give him 5 healing from my lay on hands.
Okay.
And we'll give him a little bit of water.
So you give him some water, give him some healing. You give him, like, about an hour or so to basically sort of short rest and kind of come to. When he does, he sort of starts to stir, And he kind of looks up at Pyro, like vigorously, like rubbing him down with his hands. And he says, "Thank you, friend. It's like you saved my life."
And you are?
Probably better than what I was about to say.
Says,
Okay.
my name is Orvex. It's like, who's there? Like, how many of you are there? And he kind of sits up a little bit and he looks around and he's like, kind of like looks at all of you and his eyes just kind of freeze and fixate on Dusty.
Oh,
And
boy.
like as he looks at Dusty, you see him kind of like start to panic a little bit, and you see him starting to kind of sit up straighter, and he just starts kind of stammering. He's like, "Sir, I'm sorry. I can't show you the proper respects. I can barely move."
Let's just go with this.
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
I just kind of like look around. Like, okay, all on the same page.
You're so
Sit down.
popular.
Sit down. Sit down.
What happened here?
So he kind of like looks at you, and then kind of like looks at Dusty, almost like he's like waiting for permission to speak again.
Yeah, I can give him the nod.
Yep. It's like we were attacked. Our whole scouting party was attacked by those U1T vermin. You know, they overwhelmed us. Most of our guides and most of my comrades, I think, were killed. And then he kind of like looks around and he sees like the big pile of burnt corpses, and he's just like, it's like, oh god. It's like I don't know if any of them got away. Like in the midst of the battle, I fled back here. Fighting is not really one of my strong suits. I'm just a scholar and a historian. I didn't even want to come on this stupid expedition. And he's like, I kind of ducked for cover in here, and then all of a sudden the wall came crumbling down on me, and I was trapped.
You were fighting
How many were in
this
your
area.
expedition?
So he tells you, let's see, there's the 30 corpses, and him.
31.
31. Where? Bu- 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 bu. Hmm, 42 of them. Besides himself, there were 42 others.
Well,
You
8.
were you fighting? Was go down here? Where did this happen? Was I was here? Or did they
Said yes, like they
here? This area.
scrambled. He says they scrambled over the walls and like burst their way in through the gates and just overwhelmed us while we were having dinner one night. Like our guard was down. Most of us were resting and going over the findings from earlier in the day, and they surprised us, and we weren't prepared for such an assault. You know, the few 1T that the others had run into, you know, throughout the previous couple of days, you know, they've just been scouting parties and small bands. We didn't expect to run into a force such as this.
Okay. Are there any more of you maybe scattered in this area, or is it you think it's just you?
So he asks you, it's kind of like how many people you found.
30 dead bodies.
You are the only one who is alive.
So you guys tell him like you found 30 charred corpses scattered around here. So yeah, he says that there's 12 of them left.
Well,
We set forth. There were 8 other red wizards in our expedition. The rest were human mercenaries that were hired as guides and protection.
Right.
Says at least at least a couple of the wizards must have gotten away.
Yeah. We'll probably find them
Okay.
eventually.
He just kind of like looks at you and says, "Sir, it's like I'm a little surprised they would send someone like you like all the way out here. I mean, isn't this seems a little low brow for a Draxkier to be, to be sent all the way here. And you've awfully strange companions, sir. It's like, tell me, did my comrades get word to Our Lady? Is she the one who sent for you?"
Well, things get boring, and I needed to get out, and I heard about what happened, and it's been a while since I've gotten out, so I wanted to come check for myself.
So he tells you, it's like, well, but Our Lady, is she the one who sent for you? Like, is she the one that sent you here? Did she at least fill you in on what's going on? Her orders lately have been strange and cryptic.
They have been. All she gave me was the information that, I need to come check on what happened to this area, this town. And she also was being very cryptic with me.
What did she tell you?
She says, it's like, clearly you must have been in, like, when they got word that we'd been attacked and decimated, it's like, clearly, she must have been in a hurry to send you out here to find out what happened. So you probably didn't have time to relay everything. So he tells you that he was essentially sent here as the scribe and the historian. He kind of knows the most about Omu and its history. That is the reason he was sent along on this. Tells you that it's like, we were sent here to find the soulmonger. Lady Valindra believes that it's in in a tomb sealed away here. Our leader, whose name I misplaced.
Leader?
Yeah, our leader. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't think of her name right now. I'm too weak and tired.
Everywhere. I got it. It's fine.
But she believes she has found the entrance to the tomb where the soulmonger is held. It is in the cliffs, like on the far northern edge of the city.
Of course it is.
And it is. We believe it is sealed by 9 puzzle cubes. That you must find the 9 puzzle cubes to open the tomb and get inside. Each one of these cubes are representations of one of the trickster gods of Omu. And he kind of like reaches over, he kind of like points to like his bag that was beside him. And he's like kind of stretching his hand out, reaching for it.
In there.
I'll help him out with it. I'll hand it to him.
Yeah, so he digs around in his bag and he pulls out like a notebook. He starts kind of flipping through, and he shows you guys some sketches of carvings.
Oh my gosh.
And he tells you that after Ubtao left and abandoned the city, the Omuans needed something to worship. So they began to worship 9 trickster gods, ancient primeval entities that had sort of raised themselves up to almost deific status and took the forms of various jungle creatures. It says all of Uptau's shrines and statues were torn down, and in place, 9 shrines to the trickster gods were built here in the city, each one holding one of these puzzle cubes in it.
Did you guys manage to find any of the cubes?
I will ask the questions here.
I'm just gonna
Find
stare
any of the
over at
cubes?
Dustin display.
I've seen how long that would take.
Give Far a pat on the back. Roll with it.
Says you're very inquisitive subordinates, sir.
Yeah, they don't know any better.
I'm just gonna be like, we're stupid.
It's like they are awfully strange traveling companions but I guess someone such as yourself has access to more capable help than I guess we did. They seem like they could handle themselves maybe a bit better than our mercenaries did.
We got here, didn't we?
So he tells you that yes, they were able to find two of the cubes so far. They were able to sort of ascertain the location of several of the temples.
They have two. Is that what you said? They have 2 of the cubes already.
They
Or
have
this dude
2.
does?
They have,
Yep.
they have 2
she-
cubes and know where several shrines are.
It's like, yes, if... trying to find the name of her bloody leader. Oh, yeah, it's way over here.
We found Dunk.
Dyrax, Thasma, Yamok, and Zagmira.
Oh.
Bless you.
Why didn't you, why didn't you just think of
can you
those?
spell
Just
that, please?
roll off.
He just spits them all out. He's like... That's...
One at a
So he
time.
tells you Zagmira is... Zagmira was his leader. Zagmira.
Putting apostrophes in places that I just think they would go because this world is just filled with apostrophes.
Yeah, but they're not elves. Or children.
And they're humans. They're just straight up humans.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he tells you
So-
that that Zagmira has 2 of the cubes in her possession already. One of them from the shrine of Shagambi, and one of them. So he pulls out kind of like a rough sketched map of Omu for you guys. Like he basically pulls out like a piece of parchment that he'd kind of roughly sketched, like the fine details. He says if you head out, directly east of this compound is the shrine of Shagambi. I believe she acquired one of the cubes from there. I'm not sure where she acquired the other one from. I know that they have left Kubazan's shrine untouched over here. It's like just behind this compound is the shrine of Kubazan. And there was some kind of incident, and a couple of the mercenaries went to go retrieve it and did not come back alive. So
Is it possible-
Zagmira wanted to leave that one for now and went in search of some of the others.
So wait,
So they
they
never came back, is what you're saying?
No,
They don't know where
they
these
just
folks went.
disappeared.
Okay.
So they know where you are, or they have 2 of them? Because so
They
far
have
you
2.
told us
They
have-
have 2. He doesn't know where the second one came from. He knows one of them came from Shagami's shrine. I'm actually gonna. This is why I have this little fucking pink thing over here.
This one?
Yeah,
And Shigambis, yeah.
Shagami.
I'm pretty sure. Not my.
It looks like a battery. Okay, so we can skip this
This one is
next cat.
Buzan. Kubazan.
Kubazan. I think that's too many Zeds. Kubazan's shrine.
Ubazan equals bravery. I wonder if they test these things. Like the Shigambi tested with Kubazan tests bravery.
He also knows... He knows that...
So there's no...
He knows that Moa's shrine... So he's able to kind of mark things on the map that he's given you. He's very forthcoming with information due to the fact that A, you guys saved his life, and that clearly Dusty is some high-ranking Thayan officer.
Clearly.
That is something you've also noticed from all the other red wizards you've come across so far, that your robes seem quite a bit fancier than other wizards. So you're obviously some kind of... They belong to some kind of higher up, or perhaps middle management. If you want more information on that, give me a history check while I'm continuing to mark shrines.
Let me get on that with thinking. Thinking in progress. Thought complete.
That's some good thinking. So, at some point in your illustrious history, you must have studied the Red Wizards, because you have some foreknowledge of their hierarchy. With that, which is quite high, you know that the leader of Thay is a Grand Archlich named Zaztam. Under Zaztam are 8 Zulkirs. They are essentially his cabinet, his most trusted advisors. All of which being liches as well, like big powerful liches. And then underneath each Zulkir are sort of just tiers and tiers of followers. So it's each one of them has an entire just departments and departments of people underneath them.
Yeah.
You remember him calling you a Draxkier.
Yeah.
Can't even read my own damn writing half the time.
I just noticed the Zoom didn't reopen.
The what?
The Zoom was gone from my screen, and I don't know why.
Oh, you're still here.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
see you.
That's fine.
So a Draxkier, you know that is sort of one of the middle sections of the sort of hierarchy, and they are the masters of logistics. They ensure the other red wizards have what they need to function, whether that's components, sacrifices, or other more rare and valuable things. And you do remember the wizard you took this off of was sort of in charge of the gate, the shadow gate between Neverwinter and Evernight into the Shadowfell. So it kind of makes sense that a logistics guy was kind of in charge of that. So that is what he believes you are. That is essentially what you are disguised as.
Accidental disguise.
Neat.
Red Wizard Middle Management.
You're a pencil pusher, Harry.
You probably don't outrank. You're probably at about the same rank as the woman in charge of this expedition.
Is that Mira?
Yeah, it's Zagmira.
Yeah.
So she's probably at or around your level. So if you ran into her, you probably couldn't order her around like a subordinate.
Right.
You also heard him mention Lady Valindra, and you imagine that Valindra is, considering how just unabashed she was at what you were wearing, that she must be, if she's working with or for the Thayans, she must be way, way above your pay grade. Actually, with that big of a history check, thinking about it now, thinking back to all your studies of Thay and that, you believe you've heard the name Valindra Shadowmantle before, and you believe that she is one of Zaztam's 8 Zulkirs. So she's about as high up in Red Wizard rankings as it gets. and also that therefore a very powerful lich. Which Pyro would have been able to know if he had used his divine sense.
You idiot.
Just the aura
I'm
of
just
evil
too
coming off of her probably would have pushed him like out the door. Just his wind would have picked up and Pyro would have just been blown away.
But she wasn't that evil, so why did we need to kill her?
Well,
Story of our life.
that kind of puts things in perspective here. Mainly that I was right. We should destroy it.
Well, you also think it's a good thing we didn't piss her off, because she probably would have murdered all of you. Very horribly, very quickly.
I mean, we didn't have any reason to piss her off.
Yeah. Anyways. So
What
he
about
marks
shrine?
some of the shrines they've been able to kind of scope out so far. This is not Moa's, this is...
Mo's shrine?
Moa's in the
Shrine.
lava.
Well, oh, okay. Well, 3 of them are marked as the same thing.
Yeah, I know, it's
Three
because
lowest.
that's my cut and paste. That one's Unks.
I want to go
this-
to Ilios. Let's go to Ilios.
And this one is Ijin.
Ijin. Not Ilios. Ijin.
Ghosts.
So these are the ones they've been able to ascertain so far. He tells you that, like the temples are pretty temple-looking. They're not all that
Disguised.
difficult. Yeah, they're not all that difficult to ascertain from like regular residences and living quarters and day-to-day buildings.
Good thing I thought this was a shrine.
So it tells you, it's like, if I could move, sir, I would be more than happy to lead you through Omu myself and find the rest of the shrines for you. But I
Okay.
think I'm going to need a few days rest before I'm
That's fine.
able to carry on.
These dogs shouldn't bother you. As long as you don't.
Yeah, it's
like,
probably
try to take
been,
their bodies.
by the time you unburied him and healed him and got him talking, the dogs have probably, like, they've left by
Wandered
now.
off.
Yeah, they got their
Wandered off.
fill. Maybe dragged a couple of chunks of, like, the body away, and they're gone. So,
So what? We're just gonna leave him here.
I mean, does he have rations or something in his?
yeah, in his bag, he's got sort of enough to, if you leave him a bit of water, like, that's pretty much all he needs. He's got food and that, and he can get himself kind of up and going again in a couple of days.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
question is,
and-
do we want to leave him here?
I mean, he's good. He's a good boy.
So if there's any information you need to know about Omu or the 9 gods, it's like I spent much of my life studying, wishing to visit this place. I just didn't think it was
Very
going to be
nice.
this harrowing.
Hostile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even really know any spells. It's like I'm not even from Thay originally.
Any of the trickster
From
gods take
Wisconsin,
the
man.
do any of the trickster gods take the nickname of the King of Feathers?
Papazoto? Is it Papazoto?
So he tells you that King of Feathers it could be referring to Papazotl, which is like a god based off of a crane. Or not, it's not a crane, it's
Ibis?
an Eblis.
Eblis. Not Ibis.
Yeah,
What was the King of Feathers? No, again, I forgot that one.
It was
King-
just
King of Feathers is the best or something like that.
it just all hail the King of Feathers.
That's what it was.
He's the best around.
There might be a frog monster in here.
Hey, you know anything about Frog Monster?
Well, he tells you that Kubazan, the shrine right beside us here to the west, Kubazan was a frog-emoth.
Good.
Where your mercs might have run into some trouble there.
The Obolara or Obolaka was the frog-looking one.
No.
I guess that looks a little bit too furry.
He's able to tell you that Ijin is an Almirage, Kubazan is a Froghemoth,
He says, "Oh, Mirage, my Jafar's eyes are gonna go just a little bit wide." He's gonna be like,
that's a tasty
you know.
sounding god. A Moa is a Jakuli,
I'm converting.
Nang Nang is a Grung, Obolaka is a Zorbo,
Oh,
Oh.
good.
Papa Zodal is an Eblis, Shagambi is a Kamadon, Unk is a Flail Snail, and Wongo
Oh,
is
you
a
just made
Sue
that
Monster.
No, it's a snail with flails for faces.
Wongo is a what?
A
A Sue
Sue
Monster.
Monster.
Everyone gets
It's like,
fancy
yes.
names and
Get
they
up
just get
now,
a
man.
monster of Sue.
It's like if you're here to help, if you're planning to stay and help reconnect with the others, and help collect the rest of these cubes for Lady Valindra, it's like yes, Kubazan's shrine is as good a place as any to start.
Yeah.
I
Do you have any
suppose
idea
so.
where the rest of your team might have gone? Just shrine hunting?
It's like if I know them,
What is this, Breath of the Wild?
if it's like if I know them at all, it's most likely that they scattered after the battle. Any of them that survived.
Makes sense.
They probably wouldn't have stuck together in a large group, drawing too much attention to
target.
themselves like we did here in this walled compound. Like we thought that by making a huge, big presence of ourselves that we would be too formidable a target for them to try to attack, but clearly that wasn't the case. So they've probably spread out into small groups and just gone hunting through the village, through the town. If they are, depending on how many of them are still alive.
Right. Well, I guess the best thing we could do is keep a lookout and try to reconnect at some point.
We'll make sure they know you're here if we find them.
So, if you guys have any other questions for your new friend, he seems to be quite knowledgeable in the history of Omu and the legends of the Nine Gods. You can ask him about that kind of stuff, or you guys can kill him and eat him. I don't know. I ain't gonna
I
judge.
don't eat
Uh,
humans.
Or Vix.
Which of the
Damn.
shrines seem to represent or have sort of a theme going on with them? Like Kubazan's is bravery. Shigambi's was wisdom. You wouldn't happen to
Wisdom.
know what the rest of them are, would you?
So he's like, I'm not sure, but I was able to ascertain the legend of the Nine Gods, sort of the story of how they came into this world. Perhaps you can glean some knowledge from that. Then he goes over and he starts flipping through one of his books.
Ugh.
Books. Actually, gonna cut and paste the text as well. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I had to scroll up a lot further than I thought I would for that. I should actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put this on a note. That's what we're gonna do. Legend of the Nine Gods. All players. Bloop. And copy paste this. Sure. So, he tells you that the stories of Omu's 9 trickster gods died with the Omuans who worshipped them. Long ago, the god Uptau hardened his heart and vowed to weep for the people of Omu no longer. The rain stopped, the jungle withered and died, and death swept through Omu. One morning, a wise Zorbo emerged from her hollow tree and spoke to the dying Omuans. To convince Ubtao of their worth, she decided to cook him a stew made from all of their good qualities. Catching such virtues wouldn't be easy, so she asked a wily Almirage to help her. The Almirage snuck recklessness into the pot, which she saw as a virtue, and Ubtao spat out the stew when he tasted it. From that day on, Obolaka the Zorbo and Ijin the Almirage became terrible enemies. At noon, a brave Kamadan hopped down from her rock. She saw the evil in the Omuans' hearts and decided to lance it like a troublesome boil. The Kamadan flashed a holy spear, but she left it by the riverbank, and a crafty Grung stole it. In her rage, Shagambi the Kamadan forgot all about the Omuans and chased Nang Nang the Grung forever across the sky. When evening came, a wily Eblis stepped from his reed hut. He didn't like the Omuans, but without him, he'd have no one to play his tricks on. So the Eblis sent a marsh frog to reason with Ubtao, but the frog was angry and decided to wrestle the god instead. This amused Ubtao, so he gave the frog tentacles to make it stronger. When Kubazan the frog Hemoth returned to Papazodal, the Eblis, he chased Papazodal into the swamp with his new tentacles. That night, a Sioux monster broke into Ubtao's palace and stole a pail of water from for the Omuans. When the god came running to find it, the Sioux monster hid the pail in Jakuli's burrow. Ubtao asked the jungle animals where his water was hidden, and Moa the Jakuli was too honest to lie. When Wongo the Sioux monster found out how Moa had betrayed him, he vowed to catch the Jakuli and eat him up. All the while Unk the flail snail lived deep under the earth. The noise of the other animals fighting made her slither up to the surface, and day dawned over her shell. The light blinded Ubtao and made his eyes water. Life returned to Omu, and the people built shrines to honor the animals who'd saved them.
6-year-old made a fucking Mad Lib, and you asked them to make up fucking animal names and regular and people names, and this is what that shit is. What the fuck is this?
It's a fable. Like,
At noon,
we
a
can guess.
brave Wisconsin person jumped down from her house. She saw the pancakes in the Wisconsin's feet and decided to take it like a person. Like, what the fuck?
So he explains to you that with Ubtao gone, the primal spirits rose from the rainforest to bewitch the few remaining Omuans who had survived, like, thus far, with the city in decline and death. They disguised themselves as jungle creatures and promised great power in return for their devotion. Desperate for redemption, the Omuans tore down the temple to Ubtao and raised shrine to these 9 trickster gods. These deities were often divisive and cruel, too weak to grant miracles to every follower, so they concocted elaborate trials to make the clergy prove their worth. On holy days, the mettle of aspirant priests were tested in the 9 shrines, with deadly consequences for failure. The trials provided entertainment for the degenerate Omuans and fed their weakling gods with much-needed sacrifices.
So, I think we know 2 more. Ijin would be recklessness, and Mo would be honesty.
He tells you that, like, also the tale seems to, like, the 9 gods were not a harmonious group. Half of them sort of hate the other half, as is sort of mentioned in the fable.
Probably part of the puzzle part of the cube part. But Ijin?
Yes, he tells you, like, from what we were able to gather, that of over 100 years ago, Omu was still sort of limping on after its near demise when Ubtao left, sort of able to carry on thanks to these 9 gods, and the Omu's bloody, vicious trials drew the attention of an ancient lich from, somewhere deep on the other side of the multiverse, being known as a Sararak. He, drawn to Omu's blood trials, he arrived here in Omu and slew all 9 of the trickster gods. After that, he imprisoned and enslaved the Omuan people and forced them to build a temple to the 9 gods and sealed it away. And that is what these puzzle cubes seem to unearth, is the temple of the 9 gods in the northern part of Omu.
These shrines are probably the trials.
So, and he kind of points up here on your map and says way up here seems to be where the entrance to the temple of the 9 gods is, or the tomb of the 9 gods.
Right.
Where a Sararak laid the 9 trickster gods to rest.
Okay, well, that was,
I think it also says each one of them has a pair except Monk. So maybe that's useful.
certainly enlightening.
Okay. Let's try to figure this stuff out so we can get into that too.
Well, I think the first thing we should do is at least visit a shrine to see kind of what we're up against.
That's what I meant. Let's go figure it out by
Okay,
going to the
that's
shrine.
fine.
Yeah, so you know that Shigambi's shrine has been looted, that the
Yeah.
Red Wizards have acquired one of the cubes from there. You know that the cube, they probably have not done anything with Kubazan's shrine, because nobody seems to have... as far as
I thought it was an easy pick,
Orvex is
so we left
aware, nobody's come back since the attack. You are the first people he's seen or even heard going around. So clearly, and he says it makes sense. They would not have come back to this area, recently, because the Yuan Ti may have been watching this area for a day or two to see if anybody would come back, so they could jump them and be like, aha, they came back for their friends. So he imagines that Kubazan's shrine is probably still untouched.
Mhm.
And there's still 4 more shrines that he has not yet located.
I mean, if they look like shrines, if they look
Yeah,
shiny.
it would be hard for you to find them. You would just have to kind of look
Wander.
around the city.
Yeah. But
It would also help you you might also find
more
things
clues.
you might find clues throughout the city, and you might find you also know that one shrine is probably not going to be next door to another shrine. They're probably going to be spread out a bit.
Yeah.
It's not like you're in the top right corners 4 of them in a row. This is Shrine Street.
And I have a feeling that the shrines of the people that hate each other are nowhere near each other. That's why Unks is in the middle.
Oh.
Unk hates everybody equally.
Yeah. Flash or shell.
Okay. So Kubazan's first, or do we want to?
I mean, probably won't be act this way too soon. So.
Yeah,
that's
we
fair.
want to check out the other buildings first.
Oh.
But actually, let's look in the buildings themselves.
Well, you guys kind of do a bit of a as you were sort of helping him, you've had time to kind of scour the buildings and that, and you don't really find much. The interiors of a couple of them are just completely crumbled away. A couple of them you weren't even able to go inside. The floors were cracked and falling apart, leading into some a deep cellar that looked like it was just gonna like if you stepped in there, you would just fall like down into like the stone foundations. You also did not find a single item on any of the corpses. They were all stripped of their clothing and weapons and armor and like items. It seems that the Yuan Ti who like burnt them, like stripped them of everything valuable, and took it with them, or ate it.
Yeah, it's to be expected. Alright, I guess we're just gonna...
If you hadn't found him to tell you about, like, you probably wouldn't have even known these were red wizards. Like, you found no red, like, wizard cloaks or anything like that. You just found humanoid charred corpses.
Most of them would be burned. The clothes would be burned anyways. Even if they weren't stripped. Okay.
I guess we could also ask him about, like, Dendar.
Would he know anything? Yes.
If he's been studying Omu, he probably knows Dendar's here. And, like...
I mean, we kind of got the Dendar talk already, didn't we?
If we did, I don't remember it, so...
I don't remember.
You can ask him about Dendar. He tells you that, like, yes, Dendar was supposedly held in check by Ubtao. That Ubtao is the one who sealed him away. There's been various debates on where he was sealed. Most people think it was probably in the Peaks of Flame where he was sealed away. That being like a gigantic ass volcano in like the southern area of Chult. That seems to make the most sense.
Did the trickster gods try to keep Dendar in check at all?
He says no, they wouldn't have really had the power to do anything about Dendar, but like Dendar is sealed away. It's not so much that he's just gonna get out on his own. He does believe, like the Thaans believe that Raz Nisi and his Yuan Ti, like they are clearly trying to free him somehow. How, they don't know. Like it would take a lot to free Dendar, but clearly they're working towards that somehow.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, I bet.
Alright, let's go get our asses kicked by a frog monster.
So we go move on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just tell him.
You sit here, you recover. We're gonna go start looking around for any sort of traces of the rest of the team. Gonna look at some of these shrines, maybe try and figure out from the shrines what we're kind of up against here.
He's
That sound good?
just kind of gives you like a salute, but it's very kind of half-assed. Not out of like lack of caring, but it's like doesn't have a lot of strength to raise his arm
like,
up.
Fucking like hanging on by nothing. Yeah, I got it. Head out. Get.
Yep. Okay, so you guys are able to sort of make your way around, like out the gate, the exploded gate, and around the outsides of this walled compound, which besides the big gate itself seems pretty secure. You imagine that's probably how most of them got in. Like you'd have to be really good at climbing to scale this thing, despite like some cracks and chunks out of the walls. Like it's held up fairly well. But you guys make your way around. Eventually, you approach Hubazan's shrine. So, as you approach, you notice a rectangular pool of murky water stretching out before this vine-draped shrine. Rope bridges that once spanned the water float on the surface, tangled with other debris. The shards of a toppled monolith form stepping stones to the middle of the pool where a statue of a stone frog rises above the water.
Is it?
Any signs of the people who possibly came here?
I will say that you see at the sort of the entrance, or like, there's 3 different spots where bridges, like old rope bridges and that, used to make their way across this pool to the shrine proper. And I would say at like the southernmost, like sort of the main entrance part of the pool, you find some like patches of dried blood that looks like it's at least a few days old. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be any bodies or anything else around that you can tell.
Is there enough space for us to like just get into the shrine from here? Like this little patch of green.
There's probably
I'm
enough.
Sure that's fine.
Actually, just out of curiosity, are there any frogs in the pool?
Give me a perception check.
But the perception check. Ho.
I've actually got to go and look what those numbers are.
21.
So
21?
the entire pool of water, like it's down a couple of feet, and then the water surface. The water is extremely murky, and it's filled with like just floating lily pads and all sorts of stuff.
I guess I'm looking for activity rather.
So you happen to see, you get a fleeting glimpse of what looked like an eye stalk, like sticking up out of the water, and as quickly as you're able to sort of process what it was, it just bloop, just back underneath.
Eye stalk.
An eye stalk.
Like a snail's?
Okay.
I bet like a frog.
Like a frog monster?
A frog behemoth.
Give me a nature check.
Within the nature check.
Are they even in? They're not in this. They're in.
Are they in bolos?
I don't know if they're in bolos. They might be in this.
They're in Volos, we would know.
Mm-hmm. Nope, they are not in Volos. They're in here. So the eye stalk essentially looked like.
Frog behemoth is in bolos.
Is it?
And flay snail.
So you remember, Wacky remembers reading about it in Jez's book.
Wait.
That you guys picked up from Volo.
Old Volo.
So, yeah,
You never met
it
him.
looks, yeah, you remember that a frog hemoth is essentially a frog about the size of an elephant that's got like 4 gigantic tentacles, like for arms, and then like it's got, 2 or 3 eye stalks sticking out of the top of its head, kind of like a behemoth, not a behemoth, a beholder, some similar to that. So it's just like a little tentacle with an eyeball on the end of it, and that's kind of what you caught a glimpse of.
Okay.
You would know all this because you have it in your book. That it's an amphibious predator as big as an elephant, layers in swamps, has 4 tentacles, a thick rubbery hide, a fang-filled maw with a prehensile tongue, and an extendable stalk sporting 3 bulbous eyes that face in different directions.
Did it look like?
You also know that they are not of this world. Apparently a wizard named Lum the Mad described a strange cylindrical chamber of metal buried in the ground from which frog hemoths emerged. But no reliable reports of the location of this place existed. So maybe it's just made up. You figure there's a lot of made up stories here in Volo's Guide to Monsters. Having met the person. you know that they're very hungry, and
Oh,
this is
good.
Same.
and that bullywugs highly revere them.
What are the
Like-
odds of this thing is guarding this place?
Well, does it look deep enough that it could fit an elephant?
It's murky.
You
I mean-
you can't really make out how deep it is.
I know it's like nearly 90 feet across though, so
Listen, if it's Kubazan, then the theme is bravery.
Yeah, it's probably about 100 feet wide and about 80 feet the other way, like in depth, like front to back. And there's like the frog statues kind of in the middle of it, like on a plinth.
Oh, we gotta get across anyways.
Well, there
Yeah.
seems to be enough room that you could kind of sidle between the pool and the wall that surrounds the shrine.
Okay.
yeah, that's,
Forget the
that's what I asked
keyword for the
originally.
shrine is bravery.
But we
Just-
can't cross the bridge because it's missing. It's laying on the water, isn't it? Or something
Yeah,
like
It's
that.
like it's all like floating in the pool at this
Yeah.
point. The rope bridges are now just basically tangled with other debris, like floating atop the pool.
Debris.
And then there's also like a big. Essentially, there's also two. Can you see it in that the map that you guys have? No. Right at the very front. Actually, be easier to point with the ruler. Basically, like here and here are two tall, like Washington Monument-looking spires. One of them is still intact. The other one has broken and basically fallen into the pool. And is like chunks of it are basically almost like stepping stones that just kind of like lie in the pool. That you could probably make it. You might be able to somewhat make it to the statue. Getting all the way across with them would be difficult because it stops about 15 feet short of the other side.
Well, we should at least go to those, just in case there's writing on it.
Go to the frog?
No,
No,
go to
the monument-looking things.
Oh, okay.
because if that's the proper entrance, it might be like.
Well, the
"Oh, this-
statue's not big enough to be an entrance. You don't think?
Oh
the-
no, I don't mean the statue's the entrance, as in like the monuments are the entrance to this entire area, like the
That is where you're
perceived
supposed
entrance.
to approach the.
Yeah.
Well, there is also a rope bridge here. So, like, basically, there was a rope bridge on each side, and a rope
Going to the
bridge from the
statue.
middle, and basically, it goes about like a foot and a half, and then it's just in the water. So there was
Well,
a bridge coming from each side of it, and from the middle, and
should at least
also
check
one
out
over
the
at
statue.
the side here. So essentially, there's a rope bridge connection on all four sides.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like this one used to connect to this one over here, but now the bridge is just like lying across the water. And then this one here, maybe it used to connect to the one that's way over here on the east side. But again, like, there's just chunks of it lying in the water. Pyro was right. There is enough room to sidle past and get to the actual shrine proper. There's probably like 3-4 feet of room between the wall around the shrine and the pool itself.
I still think we should check out the statue.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's go over here.
Okay.
So, what doing?
We're
going
moving
to
over
the-
here.
To the front of the
Yep.
monument
So
to see. Is there anything on the monument, or is it just flat?
it is basically a plinth with a statue of a frog.
No. I mean
No.
the
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 two.
Washington-
Oh,
monument.
on the posts. No.
Yeah.
It is bare.
then let's jump over, or at least one of us jump over to the statue.
Do it.
So
Fire has
Uh,
volunteered.
well, it might take someone a bit more dexterous or light to do it. I would not recommend you do it.
I thought it was going to take something a little bit more athletic.
well, from where you are right now, it is these 5-foot squares. I think they're 5-foot squares. Yes, they are.
I'm
I'm
worried
not
about
even
you
using the
not
book.
being
I'm
able to
zoomed in because
potentially hold your weight, or you potentially falling in.
Well,
it's about 25 feet from the edge to the plinth. Where
it's
like
pieces of rock that are in the water, though.
yeah,
that
you
they'd
could
be
you could
jumping
use those like hop from like stepping stone to get to the but that would require probably some kind of dexterity acrobatics check to keep
Okay.
your balance.
If it's dexterity, then I nominate Jez.
Yeah, and if there's anything on there potentially in writing, I don't know if we discerned that there was no writing on it, but you should probably go.
on. Okay, let's.
I'm gonna play you
Go.
a song, give you bardic inspiration before this goes down.
Okay, let's start jumping on these rocks.
Yep, give me an acrobatics check as you kind of hop from stone to stone. That looked like it was going to sit on that one.
It was.
Holy
It-
shit.
Keep an eye out for
So-
whatever's in that pool.
You kind of
I'm gonna be
you
keeping
kind
an
of
eye
hop
out.
and hop, and then you end up kind of hugging this frog statue. Like you're basically just kind of jumping, like wrap your arms around it because there's not really a lot of room to stand on this thing.
one of his tentacles.
So the frog statue's about the same size as you. It's probably several feet in diameter. So it's like almost a human-sized frog with like its mouth like wide open.
Is there anything in its mouth?
You peer into its mouth and you see a stone key set into an indentation on its tongue.
I'll go grab the key.
Bravery.
Okay. You have a stone key.
I'll quickly look around, just see if there's any, like, writing on the base or anything, or is it just literally just this platform of the frog?
Yeah, there just doesn't seem to be any writing. Just frog and the thing holding the frog up.
Okay, I guess I'll hop back.
Okay. Acrobatics check.
I think I'll use that thing.
Yep. D8.
1d.
So you kind of slip and scramble a bit, but you manage to just barely make it. Kind of like across and back up the other side of the pit, the water pit.
Okay.
So you're back on the shore with a stone key in hand.
Found a key in
Neat.
its mouth.
Okay, I guess now we go into the shrine itself.
Yeah, we get over there. It's locked. It's like, ha!
Yeah.
If we get over there and it's unlocked, it's like, God damn it! Now we don't know what this key's for. Yeah, let's go sidle over to the actual shrine.
As
Probably.
we're going over there, I'm watching the pool this whole time.
So you head on over to the front. The shrine itself is a stone-walled building. There's no windows of any kind in it. Like it's all just completely sealed, except for a set of double doors in the front of it.
Okay.
Are they locked?
Trying to open the doors, you do find that, yes, they seem to be locked. There's a big keyhole.
Keyhole.
Man, wouldn't it be nice if we had something to open this doorway? Perhaps something that we just obtained.
If only there was a key to this puzzle.
Shape of a key.
I'll put the key in and turn it.
Okay. Key works.
Key breaks.
Yeah. Stone was very old. The key crumbles away, like halfway through turning it. Yep, key works fine. Doors open, and you can go inside.
Okay, cool.
So, as you kind of swing the big gate open, steps descend to a ledge overlooking a pit of sharpened stakes. An alcove on the far wall holds a pedestal with a stone cube resting on it. A relief carved into the back of the alcove shows a monstrous frog with tentacles fighting a crane. Wooden beams radiate from the walls at floor height, with 4-foot gaps in between them. Carved frog heads extrude from the walls above the beams.
Is there anything different with the frog heads, or are they all the same?
They seem to be all the same. So essentially, you're in a room. It's about 30 feet from, like, you guys kind of go in down the stairs. Is everybody gonna come in, or is anybody gonna stay outside, or what's?
I think all of us are going in.
Okay.
I
I'm
think
going
we're
in.
all
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the 4 of you are basically on a landing, and there's another landing across the room. The edge of it's probably at least about 30 feet away. Directly below you, it's a 30-foot drop to just sharpened stakes, like, all over the ground. And then there's all these wooden boards sticking out of the walls. So it basically creates a perimeter around the room of, like, just these single boards sticking out every 4 feet or so. So it looks like the designed way to get across is to hop from board to board, like circumnavigating the room till you get to the other side.
Why do I feel like it's going to be me again?
Oh, I'm looking at you. Like,
I
talking
mean, I have-
How large is the pit?
It's 30 feet deep.
How far across?
It's basically from edge to edge of the. I would say it's 35 feet from edge to edge of the like the stone, the landings, if you want to call them that.
Okay.
Well,
And then
I
the room's probably about 50 feet wide.
I feel like this is going to end up being, you can fail it if you cheat it. So I think
Yeah.
we have to.
I don't want to chance it.
Yeah.
I think we have to do it proper.
Got a higher dex than I do, don't you?
Probably by now.
Do it proper, meaning me not float across.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I figured as much. I just wanted to know.
I don't think that's keeping it brave. To just float across the spikes.
What if I was brave in that we knew it was a bad idea, but I did it anyway? That's bravery.
What if I drop 5 feet every time? That way, it looks like I might hit the spike.
So, actually, everybody give me a perception check.
What up, cheap?
Oh yeah,
Well,
the boards even hold us.
Yay!
I need to roll. Hang on.
I just
Okay, I'm
realized
fine.
those are old boards.
Oh, I thought you meant roll for your perception check, but oh. Wacky, you spot an inscription sort of on the back side of, basically above the doorway, like on the back side of it. You find a faded old inscription that seems to be an old Omuan.
That's yours, Cass.
Oh, I'm getting used to my spells today. So, I will.
Like,
Yes, did it?
I feel like
guess,
I probably have something, don't I?
Do you have comprehend languages?
I feel like I have to.
Do you remember what your background is, Dado? Like what background you chose for
In
your
terms of-
character?
Like,
Like
cloistered scholar.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like scholar.
So, because it is possible to also decipher the Omuan language if you have a scholar background or like a historian background.
Or like
I'm trying to find
university background.
Here we go. Old Omuan, a cuneiform script that bears little resemblance to any other alphabet. Character with a cloistered scholar or sage background can translate an inscription written in Old Omuan with a successful history check.
I have I have in my personality traits 6 in the sage branch of trade.
Hold on. Otherwise, you can use Eyes of the Rune Keeper as a warlock, or comprehend languages or similar magic. So, Dado, you can attempt to decipher what this thing says with a history check.
Okay. I want to see. This one here. This one quick.
I'm pretty sure you would have taken Sage or Scholar as the like for the background, because those were especially in the PHB, those are the most wizardly like backgrounds.
Yes.
Because those are the backgrounds, like kind of how your paladin was a criminal or whatever you chose for him.
Yes.
It's like the flavor thing.
I was the sage. My scholarly training was a researcher.
So there you go. So give me a history check, and you can see if you can decipher it or not. Save.
Banana history chip.
Banana history check.
So after some time, you're able to decipher the words above the door, and you know that they say, Kubazon urges us to take tread without fear, and to give back as much as we take.
What?
Oh,
Give
are we
all
gonna
your
are we
back.
gonna be Indiana Jonesing this?
Do we have something that looks like cube-sized?
I can put something there for 6 seconds. Actually, I don't know how big these cubes are.
I mean, we can see
They
it,
are
right?
3 inches. It seems to be like a 3 inches square cube. So 3 inches like per side, essentially.
I have that raptor head box that we found.
That is definitely much larger than
Oh.
3 inches.
What do I have?
Raptors were actually very tiny, so
The raptors in here are Jurassic Park raptors. Let's see. I got a book. Maybe I can put a book on there.
We have watches ball bearings.
yes.
Does that work?
Yep.
What do those work then?
Not one, but
Like a small bag of them.
Yeah.
I've also got 2 Onyx figurines. Oh, you want me to put a bag onto it? Literally Indiana Jones.
like if you guys if you got like right up to it and took a look at it, you'd probably be able to ascertain what it probably weighs with an investigation check. You'd be kind of just shooting in the dark from here.
Yeah, literally. Is it lit up in here?
From the doorway that you kind of opened up behind you.
Yeah, but like
And you said the
everything.
pedestals were radiated.
Oh, they're raised up. The wooden beams are radiating from the walls at floor height.
Oh.
They're coming from the walls.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're like spokes on a wheel, essentially. Like they're individual boards sticking out every once in a while.
Okay.
Meaning you basically got to. They're like they're like planks. So you're jumping from plank to plank around the room to get to the other side.
Yeah.
I guess.
Or doing some other kind of bullshit. But that seems to be the.
I guess I'll take.
That is the
bag
most
of ball
obvious
bearings.
way across, is plank to plank. That
I'll
seems
take
to
the
be.
bag of ball bearings so that I can determine the weight
Yep.
when I get there. Okay. Let's.
I think you'll have a little bit of time to like swap them. You don't have to like do them
Well,
immediately.
I
It's
know
like-
that, but I'll still need them in my hand.
Yeah.
Before you start this again, Bardic Inspiration.
Also
Um,
prepare Featherfall.
Has it been more than 10 minutes?
At this point, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
By the time you came back and you guys walked inside and opened this thing up and looked around and ascertained what you're doing, I would say it's been 10 minutes.
Reading
Okay.
the wall.
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
Took a bit of time for Dusty
Crap.
to decipher that wall.
You don't have to prep for the volatile reaction, anyways.
Right, my bad.
Okay. I'll start hopping.
Okay, so
Oh my god. It's a frog and it's getting you to hop.
Aha.
I get it. I get it now.
as you attempt to jump to your first, so you jump to your first beam, and give me an acrobatics check. So you kind of jump on it, and you feel it kind of sink a little bit under your weight.
While this
Right.
is happening, can I perception check the pit? See if I see anything in there.
Okay, go for it.
I'm gonna look behind.
So you
us.
don't see anything really except for just a huge myriad of spikes. Like there's like big sharpened stakes that are just like all haphazardly just all over the floor of this thing.
Right. But I don't see any like bodies or.
Nope. It seems that if anybody fell and died on this thing recently,
Probably clean it.
yeah, it either got cleaned up or it just hasn't happened in a long time.
I'm gonna.
The
turn
pit
around,
is,
look
you
up
can
the
tell the
stairs.
pit's 30 feet deep, so it's 30 feet before you hit those spikes. And
Are there like a lot of spikes, or are they like?
yeah, they're clustered together close enough that it would be impossible to land between them. So no matter how you landed, you're gonna
Slowly get stabbed.
you feel that you would probably get skewered by 1d4 spikes if you were to fall into that pit, no matter how you
well,
landed.
if you only get landed on one, that's not so bad.
I mean,
I'm just
it's
trying to
still
put things in perspective.
I think it would still hurt my jumping with giant stomach to the foot.
Just
So-
saying.
So you managed to make it to your first one.
Let's go.
I'm gonna turn around, look behind us, up the stairs, just in case. See like if there's anything that might have followed us down.
Nope.
Or standing
Coast,
at the doorway.
coast seems to be clear so far.
Second one.
Gotta keep
Jumping
an
to your
eye
next
out over
one.
there.
So you jump to the next
Just
so you
ignore
jump
that.
to the next beam, and you're much more stable on this one than you were on the last one. And you all kind of notice as soon as Jez's weight leaves that first beam, the beam sucks into the wall and disappears.
Oh shit.
Ooh. Yikes.
So that
Okay.
first beam is now gone.
Good thing we didn't try to raid layer this.
Yeah.
Let's jump to the third one.
Get it. Anyway, so you jump to your next one.
I don't know.
So, yeah,
Oh,
you
let it go.
manage to steadily kind of hold yourself in place. As you do, the beam behind you sucks away.
How many more
Bye.
beams do I gotta go?
By your count, it's 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've 8 total, so you got 6 more to go. If you're feeling really ballsy, you could also try and like jump.
Two of them.
Like you could start skipping beams.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. I will jump one at a time.
Okay.
The next one.
Yep, you're fine.
Basically.
And then another beam gets sucked into the wall.
The fifth to go.
Yep. As your bridge across continues to just disappear behind you.
Fourth.
Yep, again. You
Unsteady.
do some arm flailing and some windmills, but you're fine.
Third.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so you got two more after this.
Two.
Do it. Do
That
it.
one's definitely roll 1d8.
Yep.
Yeah.
You feel yourself start to like you don't like your landing on this last one, and you kind of steady yourself and you're fine.
Oh,
I could
God.
fail.
You have like
So
just
bad.
this heartbreak for a second. It's like oh I'm fine.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And you make it to the last one,
Close.
And from here, you're able to hop to the plinth on the other side, the landing. I won't make you roll for the next one because you're jumping to a nice big solid stone platform.
Yeah.
So
I
as
can
you
use
do,
all my force.
as you do,
forward.
you're the entire left hand. We'll say you went left because you didn't really specify. So the entire
Oh, I didn't
left
know where
half
to
of the room is now devoid of platforms. They have all retracted into the wall.
Okay. So now I gotta kind of guess at. I wish it was a dwarf because dwarves can probably do this really good. Guess at how weighty this stone is.
Yep. Give me an investigation check.
Investigate chip.
You imagine this thing probably weighs about like half a pound.
Imagine this weighs exactly 14 ounces.
That's
You-
not half a pound.
I know.
You
I was
pull
just-
out that you pull out the life or death resurrection scales that Dado was carrying around, and you start like putting stuff in, like start weighing things out.
Well, I don't know what weighs half a pound.
But
Just
no,
pick it up.
you
Oh.
would weigh them against the ball bearings.
Yeah, you probably know what a coin weighs. You could weigh them against coins.
I mean, ball bearings are probably pretty uniform too.
Probably.
They're probably like a gram each.
I would say yeah. You're able to
Gram rounds.
if you're trying to get something. If you're basically trying to replicate what you believe to be the weight of this thing, you're able to sort of sort out half a pound's worth of ball bearings.
Mm-hmm. Then I'll do the getting ready, and then swap.
Sleight of hand check.
Oh boy.
I'm not so good at this.
That was good.
That's
It's
good.
still good.
So you managed to just sort of grab the thing and put the bag of ball bearings, and you kind of hear sort of just the brief hint of something, some
Click.
kind of old mechanism moving in like the wall. And then you kind of everyone like all four of you just freeze for a second, and as soon as it like was there, it's gone, and it's just silent.
And we're still missing the left half, and I gotta get back.
And the left half does seem to be still missing.
And I just
This where
think I can float
Dusty.
him across.
I don't know.
I mean, got the
What
cube.
if I do it, start to bring him over, but then something starts happening, I just drop him back down.
Just
In
drop
the
him in the pit.
Not above the pit, I mean back on the other side.
Okay.
I don't.
It'd be funnier if you did it in the pit.
Sure. I mean,
You'll be-
we've gotten through it. I
We have
imagine.
the thing, like we
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
need to get out.
Okay, I
Yeah, but-
have no objections to this.
Okay, let's try.
You want to try?
Let's try.
I feel like it's still kind of cheating because, like, if they had the two sides, the right and the left,
Yeah,
I
you
feel
should use
like-
both.
yeah, it needs all of them to come back too. Like, once they all go in, then they'll know, like, yes, challenge completed or whatever.
I don't know. Did we get a message in the corner of the screen that says challenge failed?
Well, not
We
yet.
haven't failed it yet.
True. Let's keep
But
jumping.
from here, you get a nice, better look at the big fancy relief carving in the back of the like behind the pedestal of this big, huge froghemoth fighting an
Fighting.
Eblis.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
you
fighting
also see an
Papa Zola.
inscription written in Old Omuan at the bottom of the relief.
Oh, well then. Hold on a sec, guys. And then I'll turn around and I'll comprehend languages and then touch it.
So, you'd spend a minute reading it, and you know that it tells you it is a recanting of how
They were fighting.
how Kubazan once wrestled Ubtao and was granted these tentacles to make him stronger, and that he would use them to choke the life out of Papa Zotel the
That
next
didn't
time
help.
they fought.
I thought that was gonna be like, don't use levitation spells.
It It seems to basically be a recounting of the sort of the same thing you were
Yeah.
told in the Legend of the Nine Gods from your buddy.
So I'm feeling that the other ones probably say the same. Like, they're parts of the story, I should say. Can you... Trials is a 9, goddammit. Okay. Let's
Why don't hang on?
you. I mean, if you cast it and
Yeah,
I
cast
jump
it and
normal.
Then, yeah,
That's what I was saying. Like, let me cast it on you, and
Oh
then
wait, you're
you
using
Can...
levitate, aren't you?
Yeah, he wants to use
It
levitate.
would be levitate. Yeah, that's all I got.
Oh, levitate will pick me off the ground. I can't really
Yeah.
move on my own.
Yeah, he could move you though.
Yeah, but
You could pretend
I
to
could
be
like
jumping.
pretend to jump you.
sure, big.
I mean, technically, yeah, he could.
I can.
Puppet.
I
He can move you up to
onto
20
each
feet
thing.
at a time, essentially.
You're gonna
Yeah.
like puppet me across.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
it's okay. I mean, we might have to fight a frog Hemid, but okay.
We're probably
eye
gonna
on
do
that
that
door.
anyway. Let's face facts.
Oh yeah, that thing's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not.
Maybe
mean-
not.
If you just levitate me if I fall, and that should be better.
Well, he
Can I-
probably, because it's not a reaction spell, he's probably not
Yeah.
No, sorry, not levitate. If they're on
Featherfall.
falls me,
Yeah.
I can only get the spike damage.
Yeah, you do know even if you feather falled in, like you wouldn't have the impact of
Control.
falling, but you are going to get skewered by those spikes. There's not really any avoiding
The
it.
least I could do is get rid of
But
the
he's
bludgeoning you
slow
take.
falling.
Yeah,
So
but
kinda bad.
it's basically
Yeah,
you're
but
like slow
falling
falling towards all these
slowly.
spears that are like pointing towards
Yeah.
you.
One.
You still have no chance to like
Yeah.
get out of the way of it.
You're still falling. I can't remember what it is. You're not falling like very slowly. You're still falling at
I'm
a
just
good clip.
cushioning the
How
fall,
slow are we
basically.
falling?
I
Okay,
think
what's
it's
terminal
like-
velocity.
Like
I think it's
Someone-
like 90 feet a
60
second.
feet. 90 feet? I think it's like 60 a second. No, sorry, not a second. Round, right?
10 feet a second.
60 feet per round, 10 feet a second.
Okay, there you go.
So you're falling 10 feet per second. You're falling
basically-
slow enough to not hurt yourself when you land, essentially.
I
That's
mean,
about
to be
it.
fair, that's roughly the same speed as if you jump down 10 feet.
Okay. Do you want me to levitate you, or what are we doing?
No. Oh, I should jump it.
Do you want to wait, get the Bardic Inspiration again? Has it been 10 minutes?
Well,
Well,
you
he's
can do
used
as
it, so
many
it's
times
gone.
as you want. I've used mine. But that would use up more of her bardic inspiration.
I would have one after this.
Okay, let's use
I'll
it
just-
and we'll deal with the consequences.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
I don't know cheese, but okay.
Okay, Dado's gonna levitate you over then.
I mean, it's Dado's slot, or I could.
You can have Dado just like levitate you and just bring you right back, or do fuck
the-
around with the things all the way around.
I'm gonna plant him onto the plank.
Okay.
And I'm
Yeah.
gonna look super unhappy every time I hit.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Dado, you cast levitate.
Yes.
Jez, you start to just rise up into the air like a balloon, and
Yeah,
you're now
I
just
just-
kind of floating there.
I just
Um,
go limp.
I'm gonna put him. Don't go limp.
Well, I gotta hit the land.
And then I'm
every
gonna
time.
put him onto the first platform.
Okay. So you put him on the first platform, and it kind of sinks. You basically do it until you see it kind of sink down a little bit under his weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as you rise him up and start bringing him to the next one, it just throop into the wall.
We're gonna rinse repeat that until we get him over here.
Okay.
Unless something happens.
I
Whatever you
suppose.
say something happens.
I suppose if they're dead, they can't really look and see that we're doing horribleness to this.
So
It's
Fair.
probably mechanical.
They don't know that I'm levitating. I could just be like looking really hard
I'm-
at you.
I am looking
Be like,
up
please.
the stairs and then back at Jez
Get
while
it.
this is going on.
So you
Keep it
guys,
up.
like Jez, you continue to get bobbed along from
Yeah.
plank to plank. The planks retracting into the wall. As you leave the last one and get put back onto the starting platform, the final plank retracts into the wall, and you hear sort of like a ka-chunk, and then every single plank shoots back out of the wall back to their original positions.
Do we see a little text appear in the bottom left corner saying challenge
We already made a
completed?
joke.
Doing
Also, it
again.
doesn't say that in Destiny. Shut up.
Yeah. You get a new chest. Get in the chest.
So, as they
turn around.
another cube appears in place of your marbles.
What?
No, that'd be funny.
Okay.
Oh.
Like
It just
cube
makes
cube
more-
resets.
Do I hear
It's
any?
like fuck it, let's just farm 9
angry
of these cubes and
splashing?
we're done.
I'm still looking up. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
be
Do
already
we hear
looking
any
up the
angry
stairs.
splashing?
Nope. Peace and quiet coming out
Okay,
from,
let's get
from
the
the
Well,
area
fuck
out in
outta
front.
here.
Remember, the gods themselves are dead, even though this might be a Froghemoth in there. He's probably not godlike.
I
Like,
am going
omniscient.
to prepare Firebolt in case something jumps out at us as we're leaving.
Yep.
What if it's a friend?
An enemy jumps out at us as we are leaving.
An enemy frog hemoth.
Yeah. Could be a good Froghemoth. And congratulations!
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it just comes up roaring. It's like, I want to wish you good luck on your journey. Except you don't speak frog hemoth, so you don't understand what he's saying. So it just sounds like raw croak.
Let's go. I'll pick up I'll go in front on the way out so
Yep.
that I can.
So
in
you
case
guys make it out,
shenanigans.
and yeah.
No Froggy?
Give me perception checks as you leave.
What's up, the chip?
Dado and Pyro, you guys catch a glimpse of what you believe to be was some kind of eye stalk poking out of the water, watching you guys leave. But it seemed to just kind of like disappear back underwater as fast as you saw it.
Did it have 3 eyes?
You just basically see like a bloop, and it looked like something with eyeballs on the top of it.
Okay. 1 down.
1 down.
7 to go.
Yep.
Now 8 to go.
8 to go.
No, 7, because they
Well,
got
we
2
still
Well,
need
cubes.
to
they have
find-
2. You
They
have
have-
1. You still
I meant-
you still
I meant-
need all 9.
I meant shrines to go.
How?
6 to go, really.
Any chance
was-
we could find a place to short rest? So I can get my
Yeah,
bardic
we-
inspiration back.
It's
I
plenty of
can't.
buildings.
What are these 2 buildings over here?
Seem to be some kind of dwellings.
You want to go look at them? Probably
Sure.
gonna be
I mean,
in there, but
did you want to show us now, or did you want to wait till we get to, like, in case we have to use more resources to get to the next shrine? Like, rest before we go to the next shrine, but journey there first.
Yeah, I can get over there first and then.
Find
Well,
out
I
what
want
we
to
need.
figure out what's
avoid.
going
I
on.
want to avoid this whole area for as long as possible.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which
Mhm.
whole area?
This.
The compounded area.
The compound area.
Oh, okay.
why?
I assumed he was going to be pointing to the
'Cause I don't want to
lava
have to go
area.
back to that dude.
You gotta act like something.
Yeah, I
Hey.
gotta act like a Drax Kier.
Hey, you're
Okay, well,
you're dude
next
in
up
charge.
would be Asians.
Asians. My
It's gonna
boy.
be Jez's favorite.
I should say my girl, because it's a girl.
Yeah.
All right. Full
So
speed.
let's travel along the on the main road. Do
The
you wanna?
main road.
Well, we could go this way, hit the stairs, and then come across, and then on like along the walkway instead of going straight up the walkway.
Yeah, true. Walkway leaves us exposed, but it's probably faster.
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's overgrown where we're at.
It's basically
walkway.
overgrown everywhere that's not up on that road.
Yeah.
Because nobody really uses the
Yeah,
city.
I say we try to avoid the walkway just in case.
Yeah, you walking along the walkway will be quicker and easier going, but you'll stick out like a sore thumb because you're basically up above like all
Yeah.
the woods or all the underbrush and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we don't even have to go above the walkway.
Yeah.
We can go beneath it. As you said, like
Yeah, I would say there's going to be the occasional spot you could probably pass underneath. I don't know how much that makes sense, considering there's enough, all those staircases.
Yeah.
There's probably,
Like-
it's probably more likely that like the staircases are the only way through, but
Yeah,
either
the
way, it's
staircase
not
is-
going to be hard for you to cross it quickly and
Yeah.
stealthily if you
Yeah.
choose to do so.
So let's go alongside of it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just until we hit these
Um,
stairs. Go
Do we want to
across.
cross? Do we want to cross now? Because I feel like the closer we get to the tomb, the more eyes will probably be on us.
yeah, it's
Okay.
good
Yeah,
idea.
that's fair.
So let's stealthily cross at the point
so.
here.
Here.
So you guys are gonna.
Did we want to check these buildings? Or
No, I don't
We
see
could-
any to.
We could take a peek in just to see what's in the. It's probably
So-
just houses.
So you poke your head into the first one, and the entire interior of this building, as you kind of look in, like you see that it's basically just vines. Vines have just spread throughout this entire thing and taken it over. Like the floors, the ceilings, there's big chunks of the ceiling missing, but like floors, ceilings, like all the walls are just vines everywhere. You also spot. Like there's some rubble and remains of like probably like an old table and that, but there does seem to be like a big wooden chest, like a storage box or hope chest type thing, kind of in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
do we want to open the chest?
Sure.
Sure, why not?
Check for traps.
I'm more worried
Right.
about plants coming alive and attacking us. Never mind, that's not gonna happen. Let's cut these vines down so we can see, get through. Cause it's
Preparing firebolt in case something bad comes out of the chest.
So, are
Well,
you
we're not
all
in the chest
going in, or like what's? Because basically, it's like you look in through the door and you see it like way in the back, probably where like the sleeping area was.
I'm gonna test the floor, see if like the vines are covering any holes that were
I feel like
about
this
to
is
fall
just-
in.
I mean, this is just a residence, isn't it?
Mhm.
Isn't like a place that's important.
not really important, but these guys are long gone. They might have useful stuff.
Now I'm just wondering, like, what the likeliness of there actually being any traps or anything in here is.
Oh, yeah, probably not likely traps, but I feel like things attacking us.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, carry on. Whatever you're doing, Pyro.
I'm just gonna like, poke at the floor.
That you kind of like dig through. You got to dig through a whole like it's just a patchwork of vines, probably like a good foot or two in some spots, where they're all just intertwined, like woven like a basket. But eventually, you're kind of able to slip your sword in there, past some of them, and ding on some like stone floor. So it's not a pit hidden underneath of them, at least right at the door. There's probably enough bare patches. There's probably little bare patches here and there that you can see that where the stone like pokes through.
Okay.
Alright, I guess I'll make my way in.
Yep. So you walk over. You kind of like basically you're slowly just kind of like trudging, like lifting your leg up and like climbing over, trying to basically get from like flat spots to flat spots.
I'm gonna watch for movement.
Yep.
If any of them moves, I'll warn them.
Yep. So Pyro gets to basically where the chest is, and he starts kind of like cutting some of the vines off. Jez, you're able to notice that one of the vines seems to be rising up out of like the far corner of the room, and another one's rising up, but you're not able to see the one that rises up directly behind Pyro and gets a free swing on him. So he's going to get a surprise attack against him, and everyone else can roll initiative.
Do I get my thing?
Sure. Like, so are you basically just like at the doorway watching,
Yeah.
or?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm not going friggin' in there.
Okay, yeah, you're able. I'll say you're able to snipe at one of them from the doorway.
Kick ass 7.
Nice, Pyro.
Yeah.
Evo. Oh, wait, where? How do I? Where cares?
Bottom right.
How do
Oh
I?
God,
Okay.
why is there two of all of you?
Oh, because you got the
Hey,
turn
look,
order. You didn't clear
Valkyrie
it
is
from
there.
No.
another one. I can tell you our numbers.
Ooh.
Oh no, I can do that. I can get that too. Dust. Oh, it'll be all the ones on the bottom.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, you know what? They're the same, anyways. I think. Salcore.
The same.
No, they weren't. Do.
I only see the new ones. I didn't see
Yeah.
the old ones.
The players only sees the new ones.
Plant.
Like, the initiative is always what the map is. Like, if he changes maps, the initiative will clear for us, but not for him.
Angry. What exactly? The assassin vines. That's what they're called. You guys
Assassin
fought
vines.
one of these already. Now there seems to be 3 of them.
Twice as much ass.
That's not a D20.
Mhm.
That's a D12. Fuck me. Alright. Fucking same number anyways. I might as well roll the D20 or the D12. So the first one's gonna get his free attack on Pyro. With advantage. 20 versus your AC.
Hit.
So you are grappled as this thing wraps itself around your throat to the tune of 11 bludgeoning damage.
-3.
And you get your -3.
You said 11.
Yep. Dado, you can fire off your firebolt. You already did. 19's a hit. So you're able to snipe at not the one that's got Pyro, but the one sort of in the far corner of the room. Like the opposite corner of the room. You hit him for 7 fire damage. Which does not seem to affect it very much.
What
Plant.
the fuck?
The
They're
plant,
healthy plants.
the plant seems to be fairly resistant to fire.
They're
That
healthy
seems-
plants.
Don't make no
Backwards.
sense.
It makes sense if you actually deal with plants, because you don't burn new wood, you burn
Yeah, it's
old
well, it's
dry-
also not wood. It's like a vine, essentially.
Well, vines are just chlorophylled up wood. Plant fibers.
It looks like it's gonna be Jez.
Now I gotta go save Pyro. Save Jafar.
Oh,
So
and
I
Cass,
will-
you're my only hope.
I'll trudge along these.
Yeah, it's
Plants.
basically difficult terrain in here,
So how
so
far
you
is it
won't
to-
be able to get to the one that's choking Pyro. You could get to the one that's kind of just to the left of the door.
Mhm.
Like Pyro's probably about 20 feet away from the doorway,
Okay, then.
or well,
in
Pyro and the plant are basically
In
I'm
that
gonna say are
case-
20.
I will ask our range people to help Pyro, and I'll try to keep
Go for the
these
close one.
off of. Yeah, I'll try to get rid of the ones that are closest, so that.
That
They
also
don't
gets you
attack our
out of the
coffees.
doorway too, which is also a good thing.
What do you mean?
Well, like you're moving into the room then to get the vine, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so but I mean that also gets you from standing in the doorway where
Oh,
none of the
I wasn't
ranged
gonna-
people can shoot past you.
I wasn't gonna stand in front of them. That would be silly. So I'll go to
That's
the.
what you guys
all
usually.
the time.
That's usually your guys' MO. Block
No,
the
no, no.
hallway or the doorway with somebody.
Usually,
and all the
usually
ranged
we
people
get to
just
the
sit around.
doorway- We get to the doorway, and then someone jumps up on us, and then we're stuck. We're stuck in front of the doorway. So I will go to the left one,
Yep.
and bonus action, swing. My lightsaber, nice. Not really a lightsaber. And then I will Lash at it.
That's a
Maybe
hit,
barely.
and your radiant damage seems to do full damage to it. Seems more effective than the fire was.
And second one.
That is also a hit for another 14 damage.
Good damage.
So yeah, you take a couple swipes at this big, thick, thorny vine. This ambulatory plant.
Ambulatory.
Wacky.
That's my turn.
So you're outside, probably about 5-10 feet from the doorway. Dusty's basically standing, not quite in the doorway, but like at the mouth of it, shooting firebolts into the room.
Yeah. Fire didn't seem to do much. So I could target the one on Pyro without hitting Pyro, right?
Yep.
Hopefully. Okay, I'm just gonna fire an Eldritch Blast at it.
Both of those hit for 9 damage.
I'm gonna Bardic Inspiration Jafar as a bonus.
Okay.
Bonus.
Dusty.
Well, that thing didn't do a whole lot. So, dead.
I'm a little sad
Are
you guys didn't
going-
fight the Froghemoth. Are these things
You're
in here?
gonna.
Hey, Asimir.
Is there something within 30 feet of me?
Yep.
Okay. Try this then.
Essentially, if you move into like the doorway, because you're kind of behind the doorway a little bit, if you basically just move into like the mouth of the doorway, like that's about
Yeah,
as far as you need to go, and you're now within 30 feet of all of them.
Okay, yeah. I'll scooch in a little bit.
I guess assassin
And
blinds
I'll-
are not in here.
Cast Witch Bolt at the dude hitting Pyro.
Yep.
That's a good one.
So that's a crit. So yeah, that absolutely hits. So as long as it's blah blah blah. So you do 12 lightning damage to the one on Pyro. And yeah, the lightning damage seems to do everything it's supposed to. So far, it seems to just
good.
have been your fire damage that was ineffective, or somewhat ineffective. Move down this thing a little bit. Plants go. So they've got 5 feet of speed. That's good. So one plant is gonna just shuffle 5 feet forward out of the back corner. One plant is going to shuffle forward. Actually, it's like right up against Jez. It doesn't need to shuffle forward.
Yeah.
It's going to make an attack against Jez. Oh, that's going to hit 24 versus AC.
Yeah.
10 bludgeoning damage, and you are grappled as it wraps its big vine around you. The other one in the back is going to cast a 15-foot square, basically a 15-foot square of vines just sort of start to snake out of the ground beneath Wacky and Datto. Creature in the area must succeed. So I need both of you to give me a strength saving throw.
What the fuck?
-1.
Oh.
I'll rest.
I can't Misty Step out of this, right?
I mean, after you're grappled, you probably can.
Yeah, you can't do it as because what's
Yeah,
Misty?
it's a bonus action.
Yeah, bonus action. It's not a reaction.
Pyro in range of us for his bonus to
strength
saving throws?
saving.
No, 'cause it's like
That's
10 feet.
Like 10 feet.
10 feet? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, old man strength, don't let me down.
Yeah, so
Yeah, if you
all
would.
these like small roots and vines basically just shoot out of the ground below both of you and start grabbing at your legs. Dusty, you look back and like Wacky's just like her legs are just entangled and ensnared. and you basically just start like pulling your legs up and down and like dancing in place, and manage to tear yourself free from them. They do not seem to grab a hold of you.
Nice.
But there is now basically all these roots and vines underneath of you. This whole patch of ground is now difficult terrain, but you seem to have dodged out of its grasp. And that is all the plants. So, Pyro, at the start of your turn, you're going to take a whole boatload of poison damage.
Oh, yes.
My favorite.
12 plus 18, 21, 22 poison damage.
That is quite the boatload.
There's a lot.
You should just be resistant to poison.
There you go. That's a good excuse. Other than that, it is your turn. You are grappled by this big viney, spiky thing.
And I can athletics to get out.
Yep. You can use an action to make an athletics check to try and break it. Or acrobatics to slip out. It's up to you. Oh, you already made it. Yeah, you flex yourself a big hole in in its grasp and slip out. You are now free.
And that's all I can really do, right?
You still got your bonus.
You have bonus action if you do anything with that. You can also still move. But it'll take a swing at you if you move or without disengaging. And possibly just grab you again.
Yeah.
Disengage is a bonus action, right?
No,
Nope.
it's a full action.
Full action.
Right.
Unless you're a rogue.
Or
Wearing dodge is also an action.
That is also an action.
really, you only have your Oath of Enmity. You might have a healing word.
I do have healing.
You got
word.
Misty Step. That's a
And
bonus,
you got
I
Misty
think.
Step.
Yeah, I could do
Oh,
that.
you can get out of the way.
Yeah, I guess I'll Misty Step over to. How wide is the room? Like,
I
can
would say that
Misty
this
Step
building
over
is
to
probably about 40 to 50 feet long. Like it's a long but narrow building. So it's probably about 20 feet or so deep and like 45 feet long.
So what
And
I
you're about halfway. You're in like one of the back corners. So the door is 25 feet. Like if you wanted to try and just get out, like that would be about 25 feet to put you outside the door on like the other side of Dusty, essentially.
That's not what I want to do. I want to Misty Step to Jez.
Well, okay.
Sure, that's only going to be 15 feet or so.
I was gonna
Yeah.
suggest defending the squishies.
Um,
I mean, they're engaged with you. I'm good. I'm just restrained, I'm pretty sure. Well,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's just little vines that have grabbed hold of your feet that are just holding
Yeah.
you in place.
That way they can sneak up on you. Not very sneakily.
That way they can
do you
lumber
want me to go
over.
to you or do you want me to go to them? Yes,
Do what your character would do.
I'm gonna go to Jez.
Okay. So you bamf about 15 feet across the room next to Jez. In the face of this big plant that's got him entangled. That's going to be about all you can do. Speaking of Jez, you're going to take 10, 15 poison damage. Rolled real low on that one.
Good.
That rolled real low.
So first, I'm going to acrobatics my way out of this.
Yep. You
30.
attempt to slip out, but it continues to hold you in its grasp. 13 is not enough. You kind of almost get yourself free, squirming and wriggling around, but it holds on.
Okay, I'll action surge. And I'll try it again.
Okay.
Better.
This time you get out of it.
Sweet. And I will I will cast a spell. Look. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is that even at it? Oh, there it is. Hex.
X.
As I hex the plant that grabbed me.
Yep.
Did you?
Wacky, it is your turn.
Choose one ability when you cast the spell.
Oh,
Uh,
then it doesn't matter, but I'll choose strength.
I'm restrained. My attack's a disadvantage?
Now you just can't.
You just can't move, I think.
You can't.
No,
Yeah,
it's
you
just-
are. You physically cannot move. Why do I
If-
never remember though?
Grappled
But, like, my-
is just can't move. Restrained is attacks have disadvantage, and attacks against you have advantage.
Are you restrained or? Be restrained by this creature. Restrained cannot. You can use your action. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So you have disadvantage on your attack rolls. And disadvantage on dexterity saving throws.
Well. So, what is the strength save to get out of here?
Yep. Or strength.
Am I
Yeah, it is a strength athletics check to try and tear yourself out.
It's
Am
like
I within
web.
10 feet of her?
Yeah. At this point, yeah, right?
Well, you are. You guys are in the. I'll give it to you. Kinda,
Yes,
not
what?
really, but
Yeah.
I'll like stretch my hand out towards her. There you go.
doesn't really work that way.
I don't think it's gonna help.
No.
Doesn't matter.
I want to be here for a while, guys.
You would need an entire gang of paladins to boost that one up.
Just, I'd say,
I don't think I could bonus action anything. So
I'd say
that'll be
help
all.
everyone else.
Yep. Dusty. Everybody's like been getting grabbed and restrained by these plants, and Dusty's
I'm
fine.
just gonna hit the same plant. It's
The
auto
slow
hit.
old man, he's fine. He's not getting tangled up in these things.
This tends to happen.
He lived in these jungles for like 4 or 5 months on his own.
Yeah.
Plants are no match for him.
Do you roll the damage again?
I rolled damage, but it's an auto hit.
Yeah.
Thick
Good
4.
thing too.
Nick
Rolled a
4.
1. But it's an auto hit. Suck
And
a
I don't
dick.
think that doesn't take. Like, what does that take for your blah 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 blah?
I'm pretty sure it takes a spell
Use-
slot.
No, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
like,
the
what is
little
it? Does
one.
it take an
He
action?
uses the action to keep
Yeah,
it
it's an
going.
action. One action.
As long as the
But it's
target is in
concentration.
range and spells concentrated, attack auto hits the following turn. Yeah, but does he have to keep using it on?
You
I
can
don't
stop it, but
I don't have to.
it lasts for a minute. They
continuing.
take 1d12 damage. On each of your turns for the duration, you can use your action to deal 1d12 lightning damage to the target automatically.
Oh,
The spell ends if you do anything else. It also ends if he's ever outside the spell's range or his total cover.
Okie dokie. So that one was. That was the one that had pyro, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So you
Was it
zippity
lightning
zap them.
bottle?
Plants are gonna go. The one's going to start to kind of. The one's gonna continue to shamble towards the door, where it has. It can grab hold of Wacky or Dusty with its 20-foot reach. One's gonna grab at Pyro. 16 versus AC.
Nope.
One's gonna
Happy
grab
about
at
that.
Jez for 17 versus AC.
Nope.
And one's gonna grab at Wacky with advantage.
Wait, how is one grabbing at me and one grabbing at Jez? I'm
Just-
beside Jez.
There's 3 of
The
them.
one,
Yeah, but
This-
the other
the-
one was. Oh,
they
it's
can
20
move.
foot.
They have 20-foot range.
and they can move.
And they move 5 feet.
They're so fast.
They can move 5 feet a turn, and they have 20-foot range. So
So obviously-
the one in the far corner has finally made it close enough to the door to start swinging at the people in the door. The one versus Wacky is going to be a 25 versus AC.
Yeah, I think it hits.
Funny.
I think you might need a double check. I'm not sure.
You're going to take
towards
10. 10 bludgeoning, and you're grappled. As it just kind of like
Solid.
snakes past. It just kind of like grabs hold of you. So now you're grabbed from like the top and the bottom.
Lovely.
Dusty's just kind of standing there looking. He's like, I
They're
don't.
gonna rip you apart.
It's like, what do you? It's like, I don't know what you guys' problems are with these plants. It's easy. Just stand here and lightning them. It's easy mode. Like, I'm not even trying. I'm just
All my other
shoot.
shit's fire. What do you want me to do?
He's just shooting. He's just shooting lightning out of his belly button. He's just standing there like.
No, I'm just laughing because he's using Prometheus lens. No, it's not using Prometheus lens because that's fire. He's using Cold Heart.
I
Not
like
really.
to think
but...
of it more as
How do you-
Aoyama's
Even though Coldheart does
like belly
hard
button
damage.
laser from friggin' Hero Aka.
Welcome to Hero.
All right, I got an idea for next turn. Don't worry.
It's just coming out of his belly button, just shooting lasers. And he's just like, yep, just relaxing, letting it do its thing.
We need to get on Critical Role's level where they have Dick Lightning.
So I'm gonna hit the one beside me and Jez.
Yep,
Blech.
that is definitely a hit.
Hit him again. That's a little bit better.
That is also a hit.
And these are not cold.
Yep.
These are just slashing.
That is fine. Yep, so you hack at it a couple of times, taking some chunks of leaves or whatever off the side of it. I don't know. It's a
Oh,
plant.
shit. I forgot to repost. Oh well.
Plant things.
And that is all.
Jez.
Okay. I will swing at it.
That is a hit. You continue to hack away at this thing.
And do an extra 3 necrotic damage.
Okie dokie.
Radiant and necrotic.
Yeah. And second swing.
That's big. Big.
That's pretty big.
Plus another 3.
So 16. So you continue to hack away at this thing. And, like, it's looking pretty haggard, but it's still wriggling and still alive.
Still wriggling, still jiggling.
You remember this thing having a
Ungodly.
large amount of constitution the last time you fought one of these.
I can't trip attack or disarm attack any of these, can I?
Yeah, you believe that it would probably be completely immune to things
No,
like...
I'm more talking about the damage from it, from the superiority die.
I don't think so, because it's completely immune to being, like, knocked prone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, the act of it, even, like, you couldn't even stumble it to do the damage.
I'll rely on my reposts.
Oh, sorry, it's Wacky's turn. Oh, that means I roll poison damage. 7, 11, 17. That's not very good. 17 poison damage.
Alright.
I keep rolling under the friggin' like under the
average?
the mean. Yeah, the average.
So what can I do?
You can attack with disadvantage.
You
just
can attack
don't
with you can attack with disadvantage. You can attempt to escape.
one of them.
You can attempt to escape one of them. You can probably attempt to escape the one that's hurting you.
Yes, I'll do
Because
that.
basically you're grappled by the big one and you're restrained by the small ones. But the small ones aren't hurting you, they're just holding you in place. The big
Alright.
thing is injecting you full of poison on every turn.
I'll try to escape the grapple then. So acrobatics or athletics?
Acrobatics or athletics, but the acrobatics will be disadvantage.
Doesn't matter.
Hey.
Well, it's
There you
not
go.
a saving throw.
Is it saving throw? I
No.
can't remember. Oh, that's right, dexterity
Not about the
saving throws.
it's that,
Yeah.
the check, and
So yes,
she rolled an 18
you
on
managed to
disadvantage.
slither out of its grasp. It no longer has you. You can't move,
Yep.
but it no longer has you.
That is all I will do.
You kind of trying to imagine this because your feet are stuck in one place. You just like slither around.
Yeah.
She's just whipping herself back and
Ew.
forth until it finally gives. Dusty.
Alright. How much can I get into some sort of position where I can get all the plants in a straight line?
No, because they're almost in a triangle shape.
They're in a triangle formation, of course.
Kind
they are.
of.
Okay.
Two of them are basically side by side. The one that Jez and Pyro are fighting, they're fighting one, and then the other one's basically like right up beside it at this point. And then the other one's coming from the other side of the room. Because you guys are basically in like a wide, short rectangle.
Yeah.
So the one's coming from the right, and he's getting close to the center, and the other two are basically stacked on top of each other in the bottom, sort of the front left corner.
I feel like they're kind of like that.
Like how?
Beside
Like-
our characters.
Beside our characters.
Oh. Yeah. No, I get that.
I mean,
okay.
this one in the corner probably is closer to like here.
So if you're thinking of lightning bolting them, you could get yourself into a position to get 2. You wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
get 3.
Get the 2.
Still 2 of them.
Actually, I would say like you probably could get yourself in a position to get 3, but there's no way you wouldn't also get Jez and Pyro.
Well, it's only got a 5-foot wide.
Yeah,
Thing.
that's what I
There's
mean.
no
Like to
way.
get, like, because they're all like clustered in a group essentially. So you
Yeah.
could move into like basically the back corner by where the chest was that Pyro was examining. You could get back there and then lightning bolt through the 2 plants.
That's what we're gonna do.
Okay, so Dusty just kind of shambles in there.
Jimmy on up.
I added us to my little map. That's a lot of dice. Why is that so many?
That seems like a lot more dice than that's actually needed.
I think
I
that's-
rolled it right, 86.
I think it's
Yeah.
trying to roll advantage dice too, even though there's no advantage.
One fails spectacularly, the
rolling off.
other just
I should
barely
turn it on
fails. So you completely eradicate
Big.
the one
Big
that
damage.
Pyro and Jez were hacking at is just completely. It just goes limp onto the ground. The other one, just shoots. It basically goes straight for a second, and then goes back to like darting around, all viney.
Yeah, the
31 does all that damage. So it's
it
so
did.
that
roll
one's
16
that's the
dice.
one that Pyro was originally attacking. So that one looks
Well,
Kinda
being
roughed up.
attacked by.
well. You swung at it a couple of times, or somebody did. Somebody hit it.
So,
No, it was Dusty.
so you went down there. Yeah, Dusty kept witch bolting it.
Yeah, so speaking of plants, the one is going to attempt to attack Dusty. 13 versus AC.
Bitch. Hang on. I forget, honestly. My AC is 13, therefore I will...
You didn't put your mage armor on. Oh. Yeah, I think you're thinking of shielding, aren't you?
Yes, shield, do that. Shielding.
Alright, you use shield and deflect it as it attempts to grab
I
you.
wasn't talking loud enough.
The other one's going to go back for Wacky because it has advantage.
Whack us.
And yep, that's 23 versus AC.
I'm gonna go help Wacky.
For 12.
Please do.
12 bludgeoning.
12 bludgeoning.
I'm really interested to
Got
see
them
what's going to be in
6,
this
7
chest when
hit
you guys
points.
are done.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's gonna be fucking nothing.
It
Could be.
Bet your ass
It
it's
could be
gonna
fucking
It's gonna
nothing.
be
Bet your
nothing.
ass it's gonna be nothing.
So, something I'm going to roll off a random table, so sure as fuck could be nothing. It could be
You
nothing,
might-
but it could be a boat. You know how much we've wanted that.
Genji needs
We
healing.
already have. Genji needs healing.
So, you
Get your
guys.
healers.
Yeah.
Genji
So
is our
that's
healer.
the plants.
Or like a Zenyatta.
Pyro.
I'm gonna make my way over to Wacky.
Yep. Or well, the plant. You don't really have to go too wacky. The plant's like 15, 20 feet away from her. Actually, it's a good. Yeah, it's a good 15 feet away from her. So you just basically got to go to the plant.
No, but
I wanted to get Wacky out of the plant. Could I
Oh.
do that?
Basically what you can do is you could use your action to assist her and give her advantage on her check to try and get out.
Which would normalize it. This plant hasn't
Well,
taken
Well, no,
any
she has a normal.
I don't think that's gonna help though.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's gonna help. I still have the -1.
I was talking more about the 7 HP.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you have 7 HP. That was going to be my next question. I will. What is Cure Wounds? 1d8 plus my spellcasting ability modifier, which is Charisma. 8 plus 2. That's not very good. Can I make it over to Wacky?
Yes, just barely.
I will walk over to her and then lay on hands her
Okay.
for 20.
Okie dokie.
That's my action and my movement. That's all I can do. What can I do as a bonus?
I'm assuming not a whole heck of a lot.
Nope. Yeah, that's all.
Jez.
Make my map as accurate as I can think.
So Jez, you've got the plant that's still. Oh,
Ambling.
my bad. When Pyro ran over, I got to roll, not 2 dice, 1 dice. I got to roll for the opportunity attack from the plant that Pyro ran by to go run to Wacky. 17 versus AC.
Nope.
Clang.
So essentially, Jez, you've got a plant still right in front of you. There's also another plant in the dead center of the room that's grabbing at Wacky.
So I got this all slightly off.
Oh, sorry, it's not right beside you. It's about 5 feet or so from you. It was the one in the corner that originally grabbed Pyro that had shambled over to join the fray. The one that you and Pyro were gangbanging with your swords, Dado eradicated it.
Yeah, so it's closer like that. Okay. Well,
I'm gonna be right back.
if I go, like, is the one that's attacking Wacky or Charon, is that more than 25 feet away from? Actually, it doesn't matter. He's got no reactions. He used it. I'll go to the.
No, it's the other. The other one used it.
No, I meant the one that's furthest away. The one that was attacking Pyro at the start.
Oh yeah. Well, that one's not the furthest. That's the closest to you.
Yeah.
The one furthest away is the one that's attacking Wacky. That always has been
that's the
attacking
one I want to
Wacky.
go to.
He's wondering if he's gonna take an opportunity attack if he moves away from it to go to me.
No, because it's already attacked.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's already
that's what I
attacked Pyro.
summarized. So I'll use my bonus action, move my hex to this little red dot, and I will attack it.
That's a hit.
Yeah, so I didn't bother to set this up as a thing yet. Another 5, so 16 total. And second attack.
That is also a hit.
And 14, so 30 total.
Yep. You
Unless it's really susceptible to necrotic, that'd be great.
no.
Damn.
It's not susceptible to anything. Wacky. Start of your turn. Poison damage. Oh my god. 5,
10.
Good. That's good for me.
14 damage. Why
Okay.
can't... I gotta get new D6s. Like, what is going on here? I'm just gonna start taking the 21 it says in the book, for fuck's sakes.
For fuck's sakes.
Okay.
Like, I'm all for being fair and everything, but come on, Dice.
I'm grappled again.
DM needs to win, too.
You're grappled and restrained.
You're grappled and restrained.
How low is this thing looking?
Not at all. Because
Not
that...
at all.
Jez's attacks are basically the only damage it's taken. Because other than
Yes,
that, it
very
took the very, very little fire damage that Datto threw at it.
Like a half damage, or is it like
Yeah, it was half
quarter
damage.
Okay, half
It's
damage.
always half.
Cause it's just
There's
gonna
no
hit
quarter.
me. Well, no, you guys are there now, huh?
It's probably still gonna try because you're easy.
Yeah.
Well, they're also mindless plants. It may go for just the easiest, or like the closest thing, as opposed to the easier one in the back.
Yeah, but if you're wrapped up in it, it's gonna just keep wrapping you.
I'll just try to get out of the grapple and avoid the damage, I guess.
Avoid the damage. Acrobatics or athletics.
Acrobatic trip.
Yep, that's good. That's plenty. So you are no longer grappled by the big ropey vine.
Yeah, nothing for bonus, so.
Dusty. Oh, wait, Dusty is grabbed, isn't he? No, he's not, because he's shielded.
No, he's shielded.
I remember beating your AC, but I didn't remember rolling damage. But yes, you shielded. So you're in there with a couple of You and Jez are kind of the only ones in the building. Pyro's basically at, like, the doorway.
Okay, I'm gonna mosey on over to the one that is the weakest at the moment.
Yeah, it is the one in the corner. Where
Okay.
Jez had just fled from.
I'm gonna go over there and
You're close, pretty much there, anyways. I think.
Speak to
With the
plants.
lightning.
I'm gonna
Just-
wham!
Blow the side of the building.
Brings up 300 feet.
Oh yeah, it's
So-
loud.
So
Oh,
Datto
yeah, it's
rings
loud.
the dinner bell for all the snake people in Omu. It just barely fails its Constitution saving throw. Eats all 8 of that damage, and you basically blow it back a few feet up against the wall. This thing is big, and that wall crit failed its saving throw. So you blow this thing into the wall and essentially through the left short wall of the place, like the wall on like the left hand side of the building. You basically blow it into that, and most of the wall just kind of gives under its weight. So it's now basically like pushed into the rubble, and you've kind of like opened up a big hole in the side of this building. Like the rest of the walls and the roof kind of like tremble a bit, but the thing seems to be holding up.
Is it dead though?
No, it's definitely still alive.
Okay.
You just blew it. You just smashed it through a wall like Dragon Ball style. So it's just like laying in like this big thing of rubble, looking at you with its no
He's
eyes.
emotionally hurt.
That was when I had all my bullshit
Because you were
fucking other names, and then I couldn't remember the actual names of spells, so I just changed everything back.
Except it's still emotional damage.
I know, I'm switching it.
Emotional thunder damage. It says thunder. It's emotional
Yeah.
thunder damage.
Fixed.
So the plant fucking dusts itself off anime style. And just vine
What that
whips at
means.
Datto. That one's probably going to hit. It's a 22 versus AC.
Yeah, that'll hit. But, thankfully...
He gets an abjuration shield because
then
he's
he just gets up and leaves, so he doesn't have to take damage.
Yeah, I'm out.
He
Bye.
quits the game.
I fucking...
He
his
combat
abjuration.
logs.
Yeah,
his
I got my
abjuration
shield
shield.
shit. I had my shield shit, rather.
Oh, what am I doing? I'm not rolling your poison damage yet. I'm rolling your bludgeoning.
I always forget how much... I don't get hit by stuff very often.
You're gonna take 9 damage, so you can subtract whatever you need to
Twice my
subtract.
wizard level plus my int modifier.
So you're
We're
gonna be
like
it'll-
what, level 6?
7
it's all kinds of free
Seven.
real estate.
14
plus
modifiers
4.
4.
So
So
18.
Okay,
9 left.
9 shield left.
All that free real estate.
We're opening up the walls.
Yeah.
We're gonna flip this house.
If you like throws a couple more thunder waves around, you might flip this whole house.
I can help with that. I have thunder smites.
So
I
this
don't
thing,
think we should cross the bridge now.
so this thing, after it anime gets up, and it lashes back at Dado, it wraps its viney tentacle around Dado's throat, and then you see, Dado, you manage to make out sort of through the hole in the wall. You see 3 arrows just come flying through the hole and just impale it. And then the thing starts to just squirm around really fast. And then it lets
I was
go
gonna
of
say
you.
that was quick response.
Yeah. Been like 6 seconds.
Not even that. It was the same turn.
Yeah, it's enough time to process, like, the hell is that? Pachoo!
Guess they were right here.
So you hear, so you see 3 arrows just stab into the thing, into the plant, and the plant just collapses at your feet and lets you go.
It's Asaka. She leveled up.
Yeah, please tell me it's a Zaka. And not some UNT.
It's more likely red wizards.
So you hear, as you're kind of like the plant lets go and you're kind of rubbing your neck and getting your gasping for air, you hear a male's voice outside the building yell a command to somebody. It's like, you, help the girl. Actually, it wouldn't have been you, but he says, it's like, go, help the girl. I've got this.
Talking about me?
Oh, sorry, Wacky's not a girl. Go help the girly-looking man.
Yeah, he is.
Maybe it's Orin Than. Orin Than thinks all elves are female, so it could be him. You never know. Somebody else might have that same flaw. But anyways, that was the plant.
You didn't do the other plant.
I didn't do the other plant, the one that keeps attacking Wacky.
But now Wacky's
The
out.
girl.
It is gonna go for Jez instead. Why did I roll 2? They were both 15s anyways. 21 versus AC.
21.
That's gonna hit me.
9 bludgeoning damage. And you were grappled. Now it is Pyro's turn.
I'm gonna go to the plant.
So plant's in the dead center of the room. As you kind of make your way back in, you glance over at the one that Data was fighting, and it seems to have collapsed dead on the ground with a couple of arrows sticking out of it.
Gonna go to the plant.
So yeah, the only one left alive seems to be the one that has now got a hold of Jez.
I'm gonna be like, bad plant.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, it's a hit.
I think that's a miss.
13. That is a hit. Just barely a hit.
Oh.
Okay. 18 damage.
18 damage. Okay.
You know what? Fuck it. Divine Smite on it as well.
Oh. 14 damage. So you blast it with radiant energy. And the radiant energy just kind of goes up the vine like it's being electrocuted in a cartoon. It doesn't just stop short of Jez. Speaking of Jez, it takes us to Jez.
So,
Roll my poison! What?
I was gonna do my con save because I forgot about because I got attacked.
What con save?
My Constitution saving throw.
4?
My hex.
Oh. I thought you were talking about for the poison. I was like, that's not how this works.
So yeah, that saves.
18. I still am rolling under 21. 18 poison damage. I think this happened the last time you guys fought one of these things, too.
Yeah,
Probably.
Let's see if Hex
You rolled
stays.
above 21 when you hit me the first time.
Come on, Hex. Yeah, Hex still there. Fuck this, I'm slashing. This is... wait,
Oh,
this
because
just
Hex
grapple.
is a concentration.
Yeah, this
I
is just a
remember
grapple, right?
now. Yes, it's a
No.
grapple.
Okay, so my attacks are normal.
Yes. Yes.
Swing 1.
Yeah, it's me.
That's it.
Just 2 more. And... Swing 2.
Um,
6. So 15 and 14. So 29.
so the thing like wiles around in agony, but it does still grasp onto life. It is not quite dead.
God damn it.
It looks like it is on the brink. Wacky, at the beginning of your turn, you feel a couple of hands kind of grab you from behind. And somebody standing behind you says, like, hold still, I'll get you out of this.
Okay.
And you feel like, you look down and see these two green, scaly, like, lizard man looking hands. And, like, all of a sudden you feel yourself just pulled, like, and you kind of tear free of the, vines and that have entangled your legs. And you sort of, like, look behind you, and basically it tears you free and, like, lets you go, and you look behind you, and there is basically, like, a lizard man.
Oh.
And there's a lizard man wearing, like, adventurer's clothing. Like, he's got a breastplate and a shield, and he's got, like, a sword at his waist. Looks like a typical adventurer, but he's, like, a wrinkly old lizard man.
I heard the guy, right?
Yes, you would have heard a voice from around... You heard a voice from, like, around the side of the building after the gigantic explosion, like, rocked a hole in the building.
Not from the lizard man.
It wasn't... The
Yeah,
voice was
I
not from the
figured.
lizard man. It was definitely a different voice.
What is the
It is your turn, and you are now free of the vines.
Give him like a nod, like, alright, thanks.
I thought we were free of the vines, but they came back. There's a
Yeah.
new vine.
So I'm gonna have disadvantage if I try to shoot from here, right?
No, because you are no longer restrained.
I mean, am I too close?
It's not right in your face. Like, it grabbed you from across the room.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna
Like,
shoot
they-
this one on Jez.
I drew a little picture.
Yeah, like, this thing has never been, like, right up to you. It's just been grabbing you from, like, 20 feet away.
Oh, okay.
Because it can. Both of those hit, and you explode chunks of the vines, like, all over the room, and it collapses at Jez's feet,
You got revenge.
I did something.
and it is no longer moving. All the plants seem to be still now.
I'm gonna look through the hole
Lizard
where the
man?
arrows came from and see if I can see who's the guy shouting at us.
So you kind of look through the hole, and there doesn't seem to be anybody there. But Wacky notices that sort of a kind of handsome, middle-aged human man has kind of like walked around the side of the building and is approaching the lizard man. And he kind of smiles and gives like a roguish wink to Wacky's character, to Charon, and says, "Well, you folks certainly know how to make an entrance around here."
Technically, I was making an exit. Thank you.
He tells you, he's like, "Look, it's like with that ruckus, company's going to be down upon us in no time. It'd be best if we get away from here as quickly as we can. We could talk later."
Should we check the
Okay.
box?
Did we check
Oh
the
yeah,
box?
should we check the
Yeah,
box?
whoever's inside is. You guys all probably hear this conversation, but you have enough time to like kind of like pry the thing
I'm
open.
just gonna like throw the box open and be like, "What's in here? Let's get this."
Well, you gotta saw some like vines off of it.
Old clothes.
Give me a percentile roll. Did I not
At
mark
100
where the
at
treasure?
100?
Yeah, D100.
If it was out of anything else, it
35.
wouldn't be a percent.
So you pull it open and there is nothing inside.
Mother.
Pyro, you suck dick.
I'm
Yeah,
glad.
I know.
I'm glad you rolled it before I looked it up because I remember that I'll roll that low as nothing.
So, how do I do it?
Flash roll.
that,
roll.
that is absolutely not.
You can also do square bracket
up.
1D100.
What would I would have gotten?
So I'll tell you what.
Or clear my map.
Jez and Dado, both of you give me a perception check.
Oh,
Trip.
you're gonna win this battle.
I'm focused on the new guy.
Yeah, I bet you are. Oh wow, Jed's won.
So
I
Jez,
have 0 wisdom modifiers
He
at
has
all.
a
I don't know.
-1.
I have -1.
Big deal. You had a 5% less chance of winning that. Okay.
That seems to be more often than not that I roll ones with perception.
so I'm gonna go with Jez. What was your number, Jez? 63?
63.
Why can't I find the treasure fucking thing? It disappeared.
I think it's I feel like it's probably at the start. They always
I
put
want
them
to
at
roll
the
another
start
one.
of the chapter.
I think what it is it's in. Like it might be in the.
Soul proper.
It's somewhere. Whatever.
Or-
I'll look it up at some point.
You know, I rolled a 1D100 the other day when I was trying to pick a last name for another character. Do you know what I rolled on?
Oh,
that?
here we go.
100.
1.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take this right here, this bookmark, and I'm gonna stick it right here in case I need this again.
a picture.
63. Is that what you
Yeah.
rolled?
Yeah.
So you
The
find.
Ghost.
You find a stoppered potion,
A ghost.
which you are able to. I'll just save you some time. You are able to figure out yourself or get Dado to figure it out for you. That is a potion of vitality.
Neat.
That is what you find in there.
Is that the aging one?
Yeah, I believe that's the take 10 years or so off your
No,
life.
that's potion of longevity. I thought.
Oh,
Oh.
that is potion of longevity. Vitality might be just a better healing potion.
I don't think it's.
I'll look it up after. So, anyways,
removes exhaustion and cures disease and poisons.
Yeah, so you see Pyro throw open the chest and start just pulling out all these rotten old cloths and clothes and freak out that there's no treasure in it, and then start storming out, and then you just kind of poke around the cloths for a second and find the potion in one of the pockets. You're like, oh, this was in here the whole time. Ooh, I'll take it.
No, I'm just pissed. All this trouble again.
I didn't tell you guys to fight the plants. So you guys start heading outside, and you find a middle-aged, handsome human man and this lizard man adventurer. They're sort of already starting up the trail, and they're waving. And come on, we've got to get out of here.
I would
And
suggest
as-
we hug.
Follow.
I was gonna say we hug the wall, and then I can't do a line
Yeah. So he's
and pick a house.
so basically he's leading. He seems to know where he's going, so he's kind of running off. Charon's probably already sort of starting to follow him and looking back
I think
come on.
it's way more already than followed.
Wacky,
Like a
just give me
puppy
a
dog.
perception check.
Okay.
With disadvantage because of puppy love.
So you guys start following these pair of adventurers, and you guys start you follow them, and the whole group of you basically start pushing your way and running through the underbrush and between buildings trying to get away, and you catch a glimpse of a very stunning and a very stunning ring that seems to be on this guy's hand that seems to be bleeding off almost an icy mist into the air. And that is where we will stop for tonight.
Shit, he's married.
It's on the right hand.
It's
I know.
two things Kyron likes: cute boys and jewelry.
Tiny things, yeah.
The perfect package.
No, you're getting married.
So that is where we will end things. Thank you, everybody, for coming out for our first D&D session of the new year. Nice that we were able to actually get everybody together and get it in this week. I always hate to take huge breaks because then everybody completely forgets everything. Like,
Yeah.
not only like what we're doing, but like everything about their characters when you take weeks and weeks off. So nice that we were able to get this together. That is good. So we will be back next week as we continue on our adventures in Omu. Plenty more shrines to find. Plenty more red wizards for Datto to subjugate.
Remember, about half of them are under your power.
Yeah, there's probably only one that's like at your tier level. Everybody else you can boss around. So we will see you guys next week. Oh, I forgot to... Where's my...
Dungeons and Dragons Breath of the Wild edition.
Yes. Dungeons and Dragons Breath of the Wild. Tune in next week. See you guys later.